I the a-hole for telling my sister that her parenting style sucks? My younger sister and her family, which includes her husband, and 2 kids, 3 female and 5 male, were visiting my husband and I and staying at our home for a week. A little background, we don't live in the same state. I've had kids of my own, but they're young adults now and out of the house. My sister is much younger than me and is still in the young family stage. We've always had a pretty close and good relationship despite our age gap. My sister does gentle parenting. I'd never heard of that because she'd come to stay with us because I guess I'm out of the loop since my kids are grown now. She explained to me that gentle parenting means they don't do timeout, don't do grounding, etc., but instead just talk about their feelings. I thought this was a bit odd because it sounds like there's zero discipline, but didn't say anything as to not rock the boat. Until I saw gentle parenting in action and was appalled. Appalled. During the first 2 days of their stay, her daughter drew on my walls with crayon.
Ooh.
I'd be furious. And her son pulled up flowers I had recently planted in my garden bed and threw a rock at my car parked in the driveway. They sound like menaces. To top it all off, they both kept constantly pulling my golden retriever's hair and hitting my dog in the face.
These are demon kids.
Bop, bop, bop,
Demon
bop.
children.
Yeah, these kids, man. She never bit, attempted to bite, or did anything that would harm or spook the kids.
Oh, good dog.
Yeah. In every instance, I was expecting my sister or husband to discipline the kids. They never did. So I did. Or at least I tried. Just me telling her kids to stop or scolding them in the slightest made my sister lose her mind. She told me it's not my place to discipline them. I told her someone has to because they're messing up my home, but I agree it should be their parents scolding them. However, it seems their parents are not willing to. I told her they need a fairly stern punishment for what they've been doing, and she started going off about how they refuse to spank their kids like we were spanked as kids. I told her I'm not suggesting she spank her kids, but a stern talking to and making them clean up what they destroyed would be a good idea. She said what her kids were doing was not worth what I would call discipline. All she did in every instance was ask them, what kind of feelings are you having that made you do that? And that was it.
Wow.
That's not gentle parenting. That's not effective gentle parenting. Yeah, Celtic Kid says that's not how you gentle parent. Gentle parenting doesn't mean that you're not supposed to like scold your kids or punish your kids at all. It just means don't physically hit your kids and work out the root causes as well. But you're still supposed to like do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, oh man.
I don't know what I'm going to approach with my parenting style.
Yeah,
I just hope my kids turn out good and I don't like have to do anything.
I would never hit a child because I don't think that hitting a child does anything.
But what if you hit them with something? Like,
No.
no, hear me out.
Hit them with a verse.
Like,
Hit them
okay,
with some knowledge.
there we go. Or like a pool noodle.
Oh, well, if it's for fun. If
No,
you
but
make
it's
it
like,
kind of fun.
or like a newspaper, like stop.
Oh, don't hit them with a newspaper. If you hit them with a pool noodle and you're having fun.
No, it's
that's
like
okay.
it's like Charlie, stop, boom, pool noodle.
I don't hit your kids. I think there are two, what's the word? Two like
Yeah.
extremes. You have hitting your children, which is too extreme, and then you have literally doing nothing and just letting your kids run about. There is a median where you are still controlling your kids.
The gray area.
Yeah. No, not the gray area. The gray area is over here. Not the median of not hitting your children and not doing nothing, but like having a little bit of control over your kids. Because I think a certain amount of control is necessary, especially making sure that they're being safe. Like for example, if your kid was about to run in the street, you would need to grab them or you need to yell at them and be like, don't run in the street because you might get, hit by a car. So that's my thoughts on parenting. Okay, well, a lot of people, the thing is that I think that a lot of people who were spanked as kids think that they turned out okay, which is not to say that they didn't on the grand scheme of things, but people have internalized problems that they're still dealing with. Like all parenting gives you a certain level. Like parents aren't perfect and there's always going to be a certain amount of mistakes that you have when you're raising a child. But yeah, I think you turn out okay, but you were affected in some way.
Some way you were hurt.
Yeah.
Also, I hope we don't get demonetized on YouTube. It's just like you kept saying hitting kids, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how YouTube's gonna feel about that.
Okay, well maybe you can beep out. No! Actually, I feel like if you beep it out, it'll be worse.
Bleeping kids.
Yeah.
Kids.
Beeping. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. So I realized
% of people were spanked and turned out okay.
Yeah.
But 33% of you did not.
Did you guys really turn out okay? Jolly Toaster says, I turned out okay in spite. I think that's the thing. It's like you work through it. It's not a good thing, but you can get through it. But there are still effects to it. So I realized this behavior was not going to stop, and my husband and I told them they need to find a hotel or go home.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we had planned for them to stay a full week. We couldn't handle more than 2 days because of the gentle parenting. I told her the gentle parenting is going to cause her kids to have a very hard life and a rude awakening someday, probably even jail time. She argued back and really lost it when I told her this hippy dippy gentle parenting crap is a scam and will ruin your kid's life, which I regret now, but boiled over in the moment. Now she won't speak to me, and our mom says I'm in the wrong for kicking them out when they planned on staying longer. Am I the jerk? And there are some relevant comments and an update, but what do you think, Riley? Is OP the jerk?
No, it's your house, your rules.
Yeah.
Those kids were destroying your house.
They were literally destroying and abusing your dog.
And you were trying to be like, hey, it's not, you're trying to be the cool aunt, being like, hey, it's not cool that you're doing this. Nobody listened.
Nobody listens.
You have the right to kick them out.
You can't gentle parent your sister. I think OP is not the a-hole. Her house is being messed up. And I think that her sister has a right to parent her kids however she wants. But if that right impedes on OP's house and living situation, that's where she can draw the line and say, I don't want you in my house. You can do whatever you want. You can parent your kids how you want, but not in my house. But let's get into these relevant comments. So one commenter says, it would have worked way better than using violence and shouting. Most chronic negative childhood behaviors are the direct result of the parenting techniques of physical and verbal abuse/domination. Edit, what you did with their children was in fact gentle parenting. If they can't behave with the dog, then you remove the dog from them. What you did to your sister was also gentle parenting. It's about having boundaries. It sounds like she has none with their children, and that is as bad or worse than abusive parenting.
Ooh.
And OP responds, I never used violence towards my child. And I should have said raised voice instead of yell, because that is more the point I was trying to get across. It's not realistic to expect a kid to only be exposed to a super calm tone 100% of the time, and then be able to deal with a non-calm tone in the real world when they're grown. There are definitely circumstances where a raised voice is appropriate. If you don't agree, then that's okay, but I guess you're a monk. And there is an update, but let's read some of your comments. Titania says, gentle parenting does not mean letting your kids destroy things. Too many people focus on the gentle and skip the parenting.
Word.
Bars. Certifiably Jen says, I might have turned out okay if I was just spanked as a kid. What happened to me, I don't wish on anybody. I don't spank my kids. We talk and they get disciplined accordingly. That's the thing. Talking to your kids and explaining the consequences and explaining why they're being punished is so much better than just, what's another way I could say it than hitting? Than using getting physical with your kids.
I don't know, I was spanked and it got a point across. I feel like there are some things you need to be spanked for. Until you're 5. I feel like if you're spanking after 5, it's a problem. But then wall sits. I'm just going to do wall sits.
I think there's also a level. I think our parents' generation and older have different ideas of parenting, and they were raised that way. And I think that as we learn generationally, I think we learn better ways to parent, which doesn't mean that our parents are bad people. It just means that we're learning as we grow. Obviously people in the 1800s had completely different parenting styles than we do now. And now we can look back on those and we're like, wow, they sent their kids to work in mines.
The fields.
Yeah. And so
Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, now we would look back and be like, that's crazy, but they were working with...
But profitable.
Yeah. They were working with the tools that they knew, you know? So I don't want to say no one's parents are, if you love your parents, you can still love them regardless of how they raised you, but you can also still learn from how they raised you.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna wait till I'm like I have a kid before I can say anything.
I think
parenting.
that's
I don't know.
That's actually. I mean, that's absolutely true. I don't have kids, so I can't say.
I will cause trauma with wall sits, or maybe they'll like them a lot. And then
maybe they'll be super buff.
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll see. If they go to therapy, then I did something.
Just support therapy. Like, you're super supportive of therapy, but you're also traumatizing them. You're like, no, I know that I'm sending you to therapy, but I'm so, like, I love therapy.
I love therapy. Changed my life.
Yeah. Mad Hatter Gal, thank you for the $10. I think I would do the same as my mom did when I was a kid. When I was in trouble, she would take everything. My stereo, CD player, and no TV. Yeah, I think I actually, sometimes when I would get in trouble, my parents would take my books away from me because I would read too much. Yeah. Let's get into this update though. Next day.
Whoa.
I read the comments. Sounds like my sister's version of gentle parenting is not actually gentle parenting.
Well, neglecting.
However, the real gentle parenting lots of you are describing still sounds like an odd choice of parenting in my view. And if it was around when my kids were little, I can't imagine it would have worked on them. I guess this new generation of parents are just doing things differently. Not sure how that's going to work out in the long run for society, but to each their own. The world isn't gentle. How are all of these gentle parented kids going to deal with the real world when someone yells at them, or does any of the things gentle parenting doesn't include? If our world was a perfect utopia, then gentle parenting sounds great, but it isn't, and it's not realistic to me. I don't plan on ever inviting my sister over to stay at my home again if her kids will be with her. That is if she ever decides to even speak to me again. Which even after all of this, I do hope our relationship is mended because she's still my sister. Just can't deal with her kids. And there are some relevant comments and an update.
I have some cousins that are like this actually.
In what way?
Like the parents are very hands off and they're crazy and they're not good.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think if you're gonna gentle parent, you can't be fully hands off and just let your kids run amok. I think there needs to be some level of a control. But I think I do a little bit disagree with OP's take on gentle parenting of just like, oh, well, the world's, harsh and you need to prepare your kids for that. I think that teaching them how to communicate and how to have an argument or a discussion without yelling I think that is preparing them for the world and preparing them to be able to deal with things without getting stressed and without going, a little bit crazy.
Parenting sounds fun, but the discipline part, I don't like confrontation.
Me neither. I've done a lot of babysitting and I think I'm able to, kind of control the kids. And honestly, I guess I have done gentle, babysitting in a way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, you can't do that. And if you're gonna behave this way, we're gonna have to sit down and you're gonna have to stay in the other room.
Whoa.
And so it's like that.
Put
because
foot down.
I feel like babysitting is actually a great foray into parenting because you're not allowed to punish kids harshly because they're not your kids. I mean, why would I?
Oh, here we go.
So you're like learning how to deal with kids in a way that is more gentle. What is the poll? Who would you let babysit your child?
Because you guys have experience.
Oh yeah, we both have experience. Honestly, I would let John
have
babysit
experience,
my child.
but they're my brothers. So that doesn't really count.
Well, you should have put your name up there.
But like, I don't really babysit them. They're like, hey, can you get me this? And I'm like, no. Hey, can you give me a drink? No.
That's Sam. He used to
4.
babysit.
You can figure that out.
Sam, one time, I think I talked about this, but one time Sam babysat for me. And
like you or for you?
Sorry, me. Babysat me.
Okay.
And my parents were gone and I was like, Sam, can you make me dinner? And Sam was like, he was a teenager and he was like, yeah, sure. And he put a bowl of cereal in front of me and I was like, this is your dinner. Yeah. Okay, let's get into this update. Oh wait, no, relevant comments. Sorry. Commenter 1 says, hi, gentle parent here. This is not gentle parenting. You are still allowed to say no in gentle parenting. And part of me feels this is fake with how weirdly focused you are in gentle parenting itself instead of your sister's weird behavior. OP says, I'm so focused on gentle parenting because it's solely to blame for the downfall of mine and my sister's relationship, which I have always cherished. I am focused on my sister's behavior, but her behavior is being driven by her parenting style. She completely changed as a person when she implemented this parenting style. And then another commenter says, the dog thing, sure. I'd be annoyed at your sister for not intervening, but all of the things you described are regular kid things for their ages, TBH. What? and yelling at your sister and kicking them out after 2 days over it is a big reaction. If you consider pulling flowers and drawing on the walls, destroying your home, I don't know what to tell you. Never have kids of your own, I guess. What kind of... One, OP already had kids. We've already established that OP had grown children. And two, that is destroying your home. And the reason that she kicked her family out was because she asked her sister to parent her children and tell them not to do it. And she wouldn't. I hate this commenter.
Yeah.
Downvote. Downvote.
They came from Red Pill. And if they just like let the kids do whatever, they wouldn't have a house.
Yeah. Also, I'm
Everything
sorry.
would be broken.
If you're staying with someone, if someone came to our house and like was staying with us and started drawing on the walls and like, you know, messing up our garden, I'd be like, what are you doing? Stop or leave.
Yeah. Like if Emily was just like drawing on the walls.
Yeah.
And like,
Emily,
just like,
stop.
Emily, please. Like,
Emily, please. Yeah.
They wouldn't be invited again.
No, they wouldn't.
We've had conversations at the house, like certain people were like, we weren't really a friend, but they weren't doing that stuff. They were just conversationally doing it. They were like in conversations drawing on the walls. And it's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Stop drawing on my walls conversationally.
Get out of here.
Yeah. JC says they were hitting the dog, drawing on the walls, throwing rocks at OP's car. That's not normal child behavior because they should know better. Per their mother parenting them. I absolutely agree. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what this commenter is like on. That's not normal kid behavior.
Red Pill, that's what they're on.
I don't think I've ever drawn on walls. I've never hit a dog, and I've never thrown rocks at a car.
What? Come on.
No, like truly never done any of those
You've never thrown a rock at a car?
I've never thrown a car. No, why would I throw a rock at a car?
I did.
That makes sense.
I was doing this when I was 5 and it went.
Okay, but accidentally, presumably.
But I mean, I hit a car. And I've hit a dog before. I was little. I was like 5 or 3. I don't know.
I've never hit a dog.
What was the other one drawing walls? You never drawn a wall?
No.
Were you ever a kid?
Apparently
How was
not.
your childhood?
I had a lovely childhood.
Care about that?
I think I personally really enjoyed my childhood.
What do you guys think about, what would you rate Sophia's childhood from what you've heard?
From what you've heard. It was very much like outdoors and like creative and like theater based. Like my parents were always telling me stories, and it was a lot of that. And we were surrounded by artists all the time because my dad was in he started as an actor and then, you know, stayed in that. And my mom's an architect. So it was a lot of that, like very creative people. So I really enjoyed my childhood.
Well, that's good. Good. I worked a lot my childhood, but I got paid, dude.
Yeah. I was doing a lot of theater, so I didn't work until, I was doing a lot of babysitting, actually, so that was my job.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Let's get into the update.
Word.
2 days from the original post. Someone either sent my sister my original post or she's on Reddit herself and she saw it. She texted me a link to my post and said she can't believe I'm airing our family drama online.
Ooh.
She told me she was leaning towards working out our differences, but now that I've posted it on here, she's done and blocked me. How did they find it? Since I can't reach her by phone, I'll address her on here since she's clearly reading this. Allison. Is this her real name?
Doxer.
Allison, I do love you and have always cherished our relationship, but if you feel like you're done, then that's okay. I can't change your mind. Look at me talking about feelings. You should be proud. At this point, I'm pretty done too, so here it is. You are family, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna be a pushover and allow your children to behave the way they did in my home, especially pulling Bella the dog's hair and smacking her in the face. That was animal abuse. It was all completely unacceptable, and I don't understand how you'll allow them to behave the way you and Steven allow them to. Some people have suggested I send you a bill for the damage our kids caused, but I'm not gonna do that. I'll pay for the repairs, but only because I know this will never happen again, since your kids are not welcome back at my home unless you drastically change your parenting style and finally implement legitimate discipline. I'm still not saying you need to physically discipline them, but you need to do some form of actual discipline before it's too late and their future is ruined.
Oh, man.
I don't understand why you have decided to gentle parent or whatever form of gentle parenting is, and it has changed you as a person. You don't act the way you used to, and now you're offended by everything and don't agree with the way anyone else does anything. I just don't understand what happened. I encourage you to look at some of these comments on the original post to prove to you 99% of people would have done exactly what I did in this situation, and I was not just being harsh. There has to be consequences for bad behavior, or else you're doing your kids a disservice, which is not kind on your part. When you read the comments, some have good parenting advice and others are harsh. But hey, that's life. It's not so gentle.
Boom.
What a clapback.
What
a clapback. Wait, who won the babysitting?
Oh, you did.
Nice. I truly think John would be a great babysitter though.
Me too.
Yeah.
I want him to be my daddy.
Yeah. What?
You agreed to that. You were like,
yeah. I just said yeah, and then I realized what you said. Wowee. OP really dug into her sister.
Oh, let's go.
What?
Let's hop into it.
Let's get into these relevant comments. Commenter says, this doesn't sit right with me. I'd suggest having a talk or some sorts. And OP says, she blocked me and I can't call or text her. What do you suggest I do? Send her a note via pigeon? Commenter says, do you have any mutual friends who you can send messages to? And OP says, I am not getting any of our mutual connections involved in this drama. If she blocked me, she clearly doesn't want to talk anyway. And there is an update. Dude, 4 days later.
This sucks because my mom and my aunt had a falling out for a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was pretty spicy.
Yeah.
And this is what it feels like.
No, I've had like family stuff like that as well. And it's also, I think it's funny when you're not at all involved in it.
Yeah.
And your parents are just like, yeah, we're not talking to them anymore. Yeah. And I'm like,
gotta pick sides.
Yeah. You're like, okay, all right. I guess we're not seeing them at the family gatherings.
Yeah. It was about kids too and parenting styles.
Yeah.
It was sad.
It was about different parenting styles as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, because like one of my she will never see this. Okay. One of my cousins was biting my brothers, and my mom told my brother that if they bite them, you need to punch them.
Yeah.
And
I mean, retaliate.
So like something happened at Thanksgiving and my aunt freaked out, and then my mom got mad at her and chewed her out, and then they didn't talk for like a year.
Yeah.
But then COVID happened and they had to go to both of them had to go to my grandma's house because that's where the internet was, and then they became friends again.
Okay.
I was like,
I feel like
Mama
there's
Bear,
always usually, a coming back together at some point.
It was good. It was good, but there's still like with that kid, I don't know. It's hard with that cousin. I try to just be nice to him. I'm like, hey, what's up? How's life?
Yeah. Hey, what's up? How's life? Keep your mouth to yourself.
You're
like, you going for a hug. You're like, don't bite me.
Don't bite me.
Don't bite me. Let's get into this next bit. This next update. 4 days later. I love that we're getting like real time.
Yeah, this is June
updates.
18th. This is like
June 18th. Wow.
This is last week.
Damn.
A lot can happen in a week.
June has been
June's not here anymore. It's going to be gone by the end of this week.
I know, but June's been like a full month. I think maybe because I was producing all week, but like, whoa.
No, June's gone by so quick to me.
Oh, damn. For me, it's been, I don't know if it's been quick or not, but it's just been like.
Has it been dragging?
No, it's so full. It's so big. Like this is, I think, the busiest month because I started improv. I was producing. We've been doing a lot of like throwing parties, and then we're going to VidCon, and then it's my birthday.
I've been meeting people.
It's a lot. Let's get into this update. Allison, not her real name. Okay. Okay, drag her. Give us a real name. Come on.
Drag her through the mud.
Finally reached out to me to talk. She read some of the comments and sees that most people think she's neglecting her kids due to her parenting choices. She asked if I agree. We already know. I told her I think there could definitely be some changes in the way she parents. She said she tried gentle parenting but realizes now that she's gotten it wrong. I asked her what her plan moving forward is. She apologized for the way her kids acted. Okay. And said her and her husband have lost friends over the way her kids act because people don't want to be around them. She said that this whole ordeal has been a wake-up call. Allison said she's going to try a different parenting style since gentle parenting didn't pan out very well for her kids. She said she's going to inform enforce punishment and consequences, but still no corporal punishment, which I think is a good idea. I said I think that's great. Her worry is that the kids won't take it well and it will cause even more problems. I think there probably will be an adjustment period where it will be really hard to get them on that page, but I think you still have to do it.
Like weaning a baby off of breast milk.
Yeah, or like off the pacifier. It takes a bit. They cry and they whine about it, but you know, like eventually they just.
Love bubbles. What? A lesson learned on Reddit?
What? Yeah, honestly, props to the sister. She's getting it. Apparently her husband was never in agreement with the gentle parenting, and it has also caused marital issues due to the fact they don't see eye to eye. Now her husband is happy she's finally come around to some form of consequences and punishment for their kids.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. I'm still not happy about what our kids did to my house and dog, but the fact she's willing to change her parenting style so that doesn't happen again makes me feel a lot less angry. And yes, I got Allison's permission to post this update. We really were able to work things out. She really is a good person, just had a lapse in judgment in parenting. Edit, since this will be the last update on this issue by me, want to say something about the permissive parenting versus gentle parenting style a lot of people commented about. Gentle parenting, how everyone is explaining in the comments, sounds like the kid does something wrong, then the parent asks how they feel, then redirects them to a different task or activity, maybe telling them no, but maybe doesn't. And they call the redirection to a different task/activity the discipline or natural consequent part of gentle parenting. That is the exact same thing as permissive parenting because there is still no legitimate punishment or consequence. I'll agree that my sister wasn't doing the form of gentle parenting everyone was describing because all she did was talk about feelings and left out the redirection and the possible, no, don't do that. But even after reading all the comments, permissive parenting and gentle parenting sound very similar, if not the exact same. If kids are taught redirection is what happens when they do something wrong, they're going to be completely shocked and confused when there are real consequences and punishment, and not just redirection or natural consequences in the real world. If they grow up and steal a car, the police arrest them, send them to jail, and make them pay a fine. They will think it's an incredibly harsh punishment and be shocked because all they were expecting was a natural consequence of returning the car to the owner and then moving on with their day. And then there are some more comments talking about parenting, but we're just gonna end that story there. My final thoughts, I'm very happy that they worked it out.
Me too.
Yeah, and that she's realizing that her style of parenting, the sister style of parenting, wasn't effective. Because that's, we love a lesson learned. We don't see it often. Honestly, actually, yesterday we had a lot of really wholesome stories, so I'm glad.
Oh yeah,
on that train. Yeah.
Ow.
I don't know. It's just everyone's feeling good on Reddit these days.
Good.
Surprisingly, yeah. Something's in the air. Everyone's doing well.
Good. I'm just glad these sisters were able to still be sisters.
Yeah, they worked it out. They gentle parented each other into figuring out the solution. I
think gentle parenting's about to be my moist word.
Gentle parenting. Oh, you don't like it?
I don't know. I don't know if it flows nice.
Gentle parenting. I think it has certain connotations for people, but I think for me.
What about hardcore parenting?
Hardcore, where they have to do squats.
Yeah, they stay hard and they just
every time they do something wrong, you shoot them with a Nerf gun and make them do 10 push-ups.
Dude,
guys.
Nice.
No, I think parenting, my vision for my parenting, which, can be different for everyone. I think currently I would say that I would want stages of parenting. So I think when, we talk a lot about how to tell kids about grown-up things and we have age appropriate. I think there are age appropriate ways of punishing a child. So for example, I think the redirection thing could work really well for a kid who's 4 and under, who doesn't really understand why they're being punished because they don't understand the world yet. So I think there you could be like, hey, let's not do that. Why are we doing that? Let's do something else. But when they're, maybe 5 or 6, they understand that their actions have consequences. They understand that they're hurting someone. So at that point, you could be like, hey, that really hurts someone. If you do that again, or maybe if they do that now, you're going to have a timeout. You're going to have to clean up that mess. Stuff like that, where they're getting consequences based off of their level of knowledge. I think that's my parenting style.
I'm just going to read a book right before the baby pops out and hope for the best.
Stresses me out. I'm like, I just have to figure that out.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
Because I do want to be a parent. So, all right, let's get into this next story.
Let's do it. Boom.
Am I the a-hole for not moving my wedding date? Should your wedding accommodate your family partners? We are asking that question today and exploring it with this story.
It's your wedding. Do what you want.
Or not? This comes from user who says, my fiance and I recently got engaged, and when looking at dates, we realized our anniversary falls on a Saturday this year. Perfect, right? We immediately start planning because it's approximately 9 months out and we have to move quick to pull a wedding together. We told everyone the potential date this weekend and all seemed well.
All seemed well. Oh, the seemed is a dagger to the heart because it's going to end bad.
Monday, I get a phone call from my father. He insists that I move the date because my mother has a yoga retreat that weekend. I tell him that this date means a lot to me and I would prefer to keep it if there's any way to move the retreat. There is, but it's expensive. I offer to pay for this change out of my wedding budget. Wow. Essentially having the amount that I can spend on the most important event of my life. Yesterday, I was told they would not be taking my offer to pay to move the retreat. Wow.
So they just want to go to the retreat and miss your wedding.
They literally have a perfect solution.
And they're like, nah, I really need yoga right now.
Moms, stop. Stop with the yoga. And that we're expected to move the wedding instead. I haven't put my money on the venue yet, so they think I should be fine giving up the chance to marry on a date that means a lot to me. It became a massive fight, and now my parents and I aren't speaking. My father accused me of caring more about a date than I care about my mother. What about your mom caring more about yoga than their child's wedding? Ever think about that? I told him that it feels as though they were choosing yoga over their own daughter. Boom. There you go.
Which they are.
Well, we have some relevant comments before the update. So I'm Othro says, your parents are prioritizing a yoga retreat over your wedding? I told him that it felt as though they were choosing yoga over their own daughter. They 100% are. Have the wedding without them, not the a-hole. And I would be petty and put on the photos why they weren't at the wedding. OP's parents suck, not the a-hole. Nook Perot says, make them yoga pose too, just for extra flair.
I don't get it.
Apartment Flood says, not the a-hole, and the next time your parents invite you to something, tell them namaste at home.
A commenter was saying, take a bunch of pictures without them doing yoga poses. Like you're at your wedding, all your wedding pictures are yoga poses.
Got you.
And be like, wish you were here.
I like that. So the judgment was not the a-hole. Are we in agreement?
Yeah, obviously not the a-hole.
Aaron says, namaste away. Absolutely. Absolutely. But we have an update 11 months later. And remember, the wedding was 9 months out. Hey, everyone. It's been a while. I forgot my password. But a few people asked for updates on how my last post turned out. Unfortunately, a lot of you may not like the answer. Almost all of you said not to change the date and enjoy my time without them there. I followed half of that advice. I eventually did relent to my family and changed the date of my wedding. And my fiance, now husband, said that the date wasn't as important as my happiness and the fighting with my parents was destroying that. W husband. Protect the wife at all costs, and how she is what's most important.
W's in the chat for the husband.
W. Now, after 6 months, we both wish we hadn't because it was useless. They still didn't show up.
That is so messed up.
Bruh.
Also, like there's like non-refundable things.
The meals, maybe if they paid for any accommodations, if they stayed.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
like so
even like a lot of you have to put a deposit that's non-refundable at a lot of venues, even if you like for that date. So they could have totally, if they had changed the date of the wedding, there's a lot of money that may have been sucked up in that.
I don't believe they had actually.
They hadn't paid anything.
Oh, they
yet.
hadn't paid anything
Yeah,
yet. Okay.
because they said we could still change the date.
That's still so messed up though.
Yeah.
Still so messed up. Not only that, but they convinced 90% of my family not to show up either.
What?
Why?
For what? I ended up with only 4 relatives there in a crowd of 100 guests.
Why?
Here's why. My mother claimed that I had been excluding her from the planning by scheduling venue tours on days that my fiance and I were both free, but I didn't realize she was working. And by finding my dress by surprise on a just here to look trip without her being there.
Oh my God.
Bruh.
This wedding is not about you. It's not about you.
It's not about you. You are literally...
And you're making it about you.
Hey, here's a pro tip. If you're kind of confused, like, hey, who is this wedding about? Just take the invite and then read the 2 names of the people being married, and that's who it's about.
Yeah.
Little pro tip for all of you entitled moms and dads out there, okay?
John giving great wedding advice right now.
I'm trying desperately, Sam. They hadn't shown any interest in planning, so I mainly didn't want to bother them. To them, this was just quote unquote clearly a sign that you don't want us there. So they went out of town on the new date.
How could it be a sign that they didn't want them there when they literally changed their wedding date for them?
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yes, that's such a good point. I literally didn't connect that. In the end, Narcissus' mother still got her yoga. I still moved my date, and I still walked myself down the aisle alone. But my petty self did in fact strike back. I think you're going to like this. I had an amazing time, and I made sure that I left obvious empty seats marked for them and told everyone the truth with a smile when they asked. Yeah, because people are going to...
Yeah, why aren't your parents here? Do they even love you?
A lot of times when they have the reception dinner, there's like a little like platform or stage where the bridegroom and like the parents like kind of eat on that.
Oh, yeah.
I could see like the bridegroom, the groom's family, and then 2 empty seats with like OP's mom and dad.
And then when the parent or like the dad's or mom's supposed to have a speech, they just have 5 minutes of silence.
Yeah, it's like, and that was OP's mom, everyone. Okay. Gotta love it. The few family members that did show up are no longer speaking to them either, as are all of the friends who came. The only exception is my brother, who I'm pretty sure they asked to relay the details of the party to them. And even he almost entirely cut them out due to how they've acted.
Oh, it's like they were there, you know? If you hear secondhand how it was, you're basically there, right?
Yeah, I got that. I could repeat to you all the major moments.
I got the TLDR of the wedding.
I watched the highlight reel. I watched the clips, okay? I haven't spoken to my mother since about a month before the wedding, when she told me to get all of my old things out of her house. I speak to my father very rarely and only over things like deaths in the family. My in-laws have basically taken me in as their own, and I am far happier than I ever was in the nightmare of a family that I grew up with. Life is good. And we have some relevant comments to close us out here. Even Enthusiasm says, great for you. The next time you contact them in any manner or let them know anything about your life is after you give birth, and send them an announcement. Hey, I would just like to let you know that you are the proud grandparents of a child you will never meet. That's being petty.
Whoa.
That is being petty.
That's something chat would say.
I'm curious, chat.
Is that too far, chat?
Yeah, is that too far?
Chat's going to say no. Chat's going to say not far enough.
Yeah.
Chat's
Exactly.
going to be like, you know what you should do? Boil them alive. Then they'll know the pain that you've caused.
Lock them in an eternal yoga chamber where they can do yoga until
where they belong.
die.
Oh, you like the sweat room? How about fire?
Yoga, how about goats attack you while doing yoga? And they're rabid.
Eaten alive by goats.
Hot yoga, you do yoga in hell.
Florida NG says, my petty side says, when or if you have kids, don't tell them anything at all. It's another petty move. I would even say, don't tell your brother unless he promises not to tell them. They've clearly shown they don't care about you and don't want any contacts, so give them what they want. Dragon Master says, good on you for going either very low contact or no contact with them. I looked through your old posts and saw where they wanted you to join a dinner date with another family member shortly before the actual dinner while you were busy. It's wild to me they seem to want you to respect their time and plans, but they have absolutely no respect for your time and your plans.
Yeah, they sound like L's as parents. Giant L's. So breaking down that story, one, I feel like the parents are terrible.
Absolutely.
Absolutely terrible. I think you deserve to go low to no contact with them. Would you deprive them of seeing their grandchildren?
I think, and chat did vote 90% that it was not too far to like say, hey, here's the child, but you'll never see them. Me personally, I think I would... I think I would still tell them the child exists, but not say the part of like, you'll never see them.
Oh, okay. You'd be like, hey, your child's born. If you ever want to see it, come
Honestly,
through.
maybe just, hey, I'm just going to inform you of this. We had a child. You do have a grandchild.
And see what they say.
Just so you know. Yeah, just kind of see what they say. Like,
I
want to
believe that crappy people can turn into good people, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
And I desire to be an alchemist of turning shit people into gold people. And how do we become alchemists of people? By giving them second chances.
Big Sam Midas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So maybe, you tell them that they have a kid and it's now on them to take the first step towards being a good grandparent.
That is because a lot of these crazy narcissistic like parents of adult children, they do go rabid for the grandbabies. They seem to love the grandbabies. So it's like, all right, you could be like, hey, you want another try? Let's meet up. Let's get a coffee. You got to be on your bestest ever behavior.
But definitely don't allow them to hang with the kids alone. They have not deserved that right.
Producer Sophia is pointing out a comment from Trisha D. Absolutely don't let them around the grandchildren. You don't want them to abuse the kids like you're abused. Absolutely not. 100%.
Wait, do we know that they were abused? If you have a wedding story where you had weird stuff with your family in any way, DMs Riley right now and give us the title of that story. And then we can call you at the end.
Because we're going to read another story about that.
We are right now. Am I the a-hole for proposing to my girlfriend without my grandmother's family ring?
That should be fine.
It should be fine.
Maybe.
Take it off her cold, dead hands. This is from throwaway 6675565. This is something I need to get off my chest. My girlfriend's birthday is on Saturday, and I plan on proposing to her. Our anniversary is 6 months from Saturday, April 29th, and I think that would be a great day for a wedding. Well, when my grandma died, she left all kinds of jewelry to my mom. She always said if I wanted one of her rings to give to a woman in the future, she would let me pick. I know my mom knows she said this. I asked my mom for one of the rings, but my mom said, not yet. She and my dad said my sister will be upset if I get engaged while she is still single and not married. It's not a secret that she's desperate to get married, but that's not my problem. My sister turned 29 in March and I turned 31 last month. My parents said she'll be upset if I get married a month after her 30th birthday. So I went out today and bought a ring. It was never about money because I can afford to buy one. I thought it would just be special to give my girlfriend a family ring. I'm still proposing on Saturday despite my parents forbidding me to. I'm just pissed off that they asked me to hold off until my sister is married when she isn't even in a relationship. Pisses me off, but I don't want anything to spoil my girlfriend's birthday. Well, there are some comments and some juicy updates, but John, do you think OP is the a-hole?
I'm sorry, sister. Get over it. You should be celebrating.
Yeah.
How is him achieving something great in life like, oh no, you can't do that because that's so stupid.
And it also could be that the parents are inventing something like this. Like the sister didn't say anything. It's the parents speaking on behalf of the sister. So is this some golden child thing that the parents are trying to maybe stop the wedding? They're doing a little I object before the thing actually even starts.
A couple old Shrek parents. We got a couple ogres busting in and changing things.
I love how I object is just immediately connected with Shrek.
That is exactly what I thought.
Yeah, same. I was thinking of Shrek when I thought of it.
Who else objected?
When do I
No
not
one?
think of Shrek? Shrek is love. Shrek is life. I want Shrek to be my wife.
I never watched that video.
What?
Because everyone told me not to. I said, well, what's going on? They were like, Shrek is love, Shrek is life. And I was like, oh, should I watch this
You
video?
should watch
and they were
it.
like, don't.
Well, comments. Imagine Snapdragon says, for her 30th birthday, your parents can gift her therapy.
Oh.
I turned 30 back in August. Never married. You know what happened? Nothing.
Ooh.
The world doesn't end when you're still a certain age. Bright Ad 306 says, that's so weird. It's not like you're 17. A month after she turns 30, does she own every month? Just wait until you start having kids or something before her. I get being sensitive to her feelings, but this is way over the top. I mean, they could let her pick a ring first and set it aside for the future. It sucks that they're going to be more worried about her feelings than excited for you. Then they'll wonder why you always spend holidays at the in-laws. Bam!
Yeah.
Get wrecked.
Boom.
And there is a big update. So I proposed on Saturday like I originally planned to.
Okay.
W's in the chat.
W's.
OP. I proposed with the ring I bought after my parents denied me one of my grandmother's rings. As I said in my original post, it wasn't about money. I could afford to buy a ring. It was about being sentimental because my grandmother always told me I could have one of her rings. I didn't do anything elaborate or public. I proposed over breakfast and she said yes. Is that a good proposal? Would you like to be proposed over breakfast, John?
Breakfast is a fire meal. Yeah.
It's all what it means to you.
And it was on the birthday, you know. I feel like it's
honestly, I feel like I wouldn't propose on a birthday because then, well, wait, is an anniversary when you propose or when you get married? Oh, okay. I guess it doesn't matter.
I was kind of thinking of that if that was a good day because I want my birthday to be about me. But I guess a proposal
not about
is still
us.
about me.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't propose to someone on their birthday. It feels like a lame excuse not to get them a present.
My birthday's in less than a month. Nobody better propose.
Guys,
nobody in this house
do
better
it.
propose to me.
we know you love the Worm Queen, but cool it.
I don't want
okay?
to see a single proposal.
If you're getting on your knee, you better be tying your shoe, Buster.
Yeah.
Trisha D says, my sister's fiance proposed on her birthday last year and it was great. Okay, so maybe it's fine.
I think it just depends on person to person.
Yeah, like I think a lot of people could view it as like a super dope birthday gift because people will be wanting to get married.
That's true. Shy Little Rider says, I would prefer a casual proposal to a public one, but wouldn't want it on my birthday. Okay.
Fair enough.
I think OP knows what kind of lady this is, and maybe she likes birthday proposals.
Different strokes for different folks.
So she called it the best birthday gift she's ever gotten.
See?
Hey, well, that's perfect.
Boom.
Yeah.
OP nailed it.
Like some people like getting proposed to at Disney.
Yeah, that's true. She had the same idea as me and had suggested we get married on April 29th, our third anniversary, before I even brought it up. So that's what we're doing. We both agreed we don't want anything huge or expensive, so we're going to keep it small. It's 1:15 p.m. now, about 28 hours since I proposed. When we announced the news, my sister was upset, just like I knew she would be, and my parents were mad I didn't listen to them. I'm 31 and don't rely on my parents for money. I told my parents and sister if they were unhappy, they can skip my wedding. It would suck if I didn't have any family there, but I also don't want them to spoil this. I wasn't going to tell my fiance what went down, but I did once my sister started melting down so she wouldn't be blindsided by any of it. She assured me she loves the ring and thinks my family is wrong. Her family had the exact opposite reaction as mine, and they are all happy for us. So that's it. All is well. My fiance is currently at work, and it may sound stupid, but I miss her. She told me her coworkers are happy for her, and I know mine will be too when I go in later today. Edit. I also appreciate all the supportive comments in my last post, so thank you for those. And there are some relevant comments and an update. Do you want to go straight into it, John, or do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say it sucks to not have your parents and family at your wedding. It sucks worse to have your parents and family ruin your wedding.
Facts, dude. And this sister sounds like an absolute brat. The fact that she's throwing a tantrum at like almost 30 about something you should be excited about is crazy.
Get over yourself.
Absolutely crazy. Also, if any of you guys want us to do outside podcasts at your wedding, let us know.
We have discussed this.
We have discussed this. The first person that asks will do it.
First person? You can pitch it to us.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Or you can
Please
pitch it to us.
though. Pitch us your wedding.
Pitch us your wedding. And we'll do it.
Yeah, because if it doesn't like work with the, style of the wedding.
And to Justice Cassandra's comment, we would love to officiate it as well. So not just be there, but literally marry you.
We're like, chat, we now pronounce it.
Yeah, chat queen. Do you take this W Riz?
Sigma.
Do you take this
Sigma.
high value man?
Yes.
Oh, man. Well, comments. OP on what happens to the ring if he got married first before his sister does. She would get to keep the rings. OP says no, because my parents said that if my sister was married, they would have let me pick one of the rings like my grandfather said I could. My parents said that if my sister was married, they would have honored my grandmother's wishes. Out of all her jewelry, I would have only gotten one ring and the rest would go to my sister. There are multiple boxes full of jewelry and multiple rings. She really liked jewelry. I didn't expect my parents not to honor her wishes, and especially over something I have no control over. Just crazy. And then Fun Statistician says, where is it written that if your sister's not happy, then nobody else can be either? Your parents spoiled the crap out of her. She'll never find happiness with that entitled attitude. Good on you for your response. Congratulations on the engagement and upcoming marriage. Your family can go suck it since you're creating a family of your own. And there is one final update. You ready?
Let's do it.
My original post and the first update can be found in the comment history, but the gist of it is my grandmother loved jewelry and always said I could have one of her rings for my future wife. When she passed away, she put it in her will that I was to be allowed to pick one out if I was getting engaged. The other hundreds of pieces of jewelry got left to my mom to be eventually passed on to my sister. The rings I was supposed to pick from were not her engagement ring or any of the most expensive jewelry she had. In October of 2022, I asked my mom for a ring because I was going to propose to my then girlfriend of 2.5 years, but my mom said I could not have one, and my dad backed her up. It was because my sister would be upset that I was getting married first. Lame.
Big goof.
My parents forbid me from proposing. I was 31 years old when this happened.
You're grounded.
You're grounded. Yeah, exactly.
What?
No cornflakes or frosted flakes for you, mister.
Oh.
Your cartoon time is reduced to 5 minutes a day.
But Scoob.
I was 31 years old when this happened, and I live in a different province, so they had no grounds to forbid me from anything. My grandparents on both sides came to Canada from Scotland. There is nothing in either culture that says I am supposed to wait until his younger sister gets married first. I bought a ring and proposed to my wife on her birthday. My parents were angry. I didn't listen to them. My sister had an absolute meltdown when she found out about my engagement. I had not told her in advance I was going to propose because I knew she would react badly, even though she was 29 years old at the time. My wife and I got married 6 months after I proposed in the April of 2023. It did suck not having any of my family at the wedding, but I just focused on my wife instead. I went 18 months without speaking to my family, from a couple of weeks after I proposed until earlier this month. I guess my mom had a health scare, and even though she is fine, it got her and my dad worried enough to get back in touch a couple of weeks ago. My wife told me she would support me in whatever I decided. I told my parents we can't go back to the way things were before, and I will not let them talk to my wife right now after the way they acted. My wife and I don't want kids, but if we did, I would keep my parents away from them too. They were surprised I got married without telling them. I said I'm an adult who doesn't need their permission. We are going to start with occasional emails for now and go from there. My parents said, sister is still upset. Get over it. That I'm married and she is not. She has apologized for the way she carried on or the way she spoke about my wife, but I have no plans to resume contact with her, and I told my parents not to bring it up, which I think is a good move.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
Again, thanks to those who left supportive comments in both of my posts. I forgot I had posted here until my wife said something that reminded me of it, and I had some messages asking for an update. And there are some final comments to close us out.
Ooh.
Intelligent Ad 4568 says, your sister is a nut job. Even if you lived in a culture where the older gets married before the younger, you are older than your sister, so that really wouldn't matter.
True.
Yeah, exactly. I think your parents have enabled her sister's behavior, which has allowed her to continue acting this way and possibly getting worse. She is miserable and wants everyone else to be too, and your parents should have put their foot down years ago. Maybe now seeing that you are not going to stop living your life because they ask you, they will change. You getting married has nothing to do with your sister. She being single has nothing to do with you. Just go live your life and be happy. That's the best revenge anyway. And Oaks and Pines 7076 says, if it was willed to you, get a lawyer to force the parents to allow you to still choose a ring of your choice. It is your inheritance, and they have a fiduciary duty to obey the will. And that is where things end.
And Danielle Paper Crane says it says she did not apologize.
Yeah, she didn't apologize.
Wow.
Like literally, she kind of doubled down almost. What she said exactly was she never apologized for the way she carried on or the way she spoke about my wife. Yeah, and still upset that I'm married and she's not. Basically, there was no character development.
Zero growth whatsoever. Staying in her old, terrible ways.
So bad. Gabe Elijah says reading comprehension on point, lol. Yeah.
Guys, our brains,
Top tier.
top freaking tier.
Top tier.
Boys and girls.
But that's where that story ends.
That's it.
We do have another story there. And we're going to do a call-in. So if you want to tell us your own wedding stories, DM Riley on Discord.
Am I the a-hole for telling my sister that I won't change my wedding?
This is very similar to the last one, but it was mom.
Spooky.
Whoa.
Mom for sister, sister for mom. This comes from Friendly Engineer 567 who says, I, 27 female, am getting married to my fiance, Raj, 29 male, in a couple of months. We are having a traditional lavish Indian wedding, which has been a dream of mine since childhood. I grew up in a mixed household. My father is Hindu and my mother is Christian. While we celebrated both religions growing up, I've always felt more connected to my father's Hindu traditions. My sister, Sarah, 25 female, is also getting married around the same time. She identifies more with our mother's Christian faith and is planning a traditional Christian wedding. Recently, my sister Sarah approached me expressing concerns about our weddings being close together and that mine might outshadow hers.
Well, maybe have a better wedding.
Step your game up.
Be the sun and cast the shadows.
Ooh, dang.
Be brilliant. Be bold. Be fiery. Be beautiful.
Especially since mine is more extravagant and involves multiple days of celebration. Okay, I think this could be a totally fair comment if like say for instance, there's like a 5-day window or it's like within a few days of it or like even overlapping one day or something. That would be bad.
That would be whack. Well, how close is it?
We don't know yet. We don't know
What's
yet.
too close? Don't look ahead. What's too close?
Probably like at bare minimum a week.
Oh, damn. I was going to say a month. I feel
I think a month. I
feel
was
like
trying to
weddings
think,
should be a month apart. But wouldn't you have that in a save the date kind of deal?
The date?
Yeah. Well, like, wouldn't the person who started planning their wedding first?
Oh, kind of get like first dibs, basically.
Yeah. And then the second person would just make sure that the date of their wedding would be different.
Yeah. Like, unless you literally both simultaneously planned it and we're looking at dates, there's like a very, very slim chance that you should book around the same date.
I want to know who started their wedding first.
We shall see. And you know what? It might not even be about the date. It might just be about this quote unquote overshadowing feeling.
Also, the TLDR. Whew, what about that?
Ooh, what about that? Now, my sister Sarah asked if I could either tone down my wedding, just
Make it worse, please.
just make it a little worse, okay? Consider postponing it, or even make it a fully Christian ceremony to balance things out.
This is a crazy ask.
Big demands.
This is a crazy ask. It's like asking Usain Bolt to just like go a little slower at the Olympics.
Right? Why would you try to tone down? Bro, you're saying make an Indian wedding less lit? Why would you not want more greatness? Hey, Sam, this 5-star filet mignon is fantastic. Could you make it just some like street taco meat for me instead?
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Could you make it the mystery meat in the clearance
Maybe,
section?
yeah. Could you like sneeze in it a little bit?
Guys.
Like rub it on the ground? Put it in a toilet bowl?
What are we doing here? She believes that having 2 weddings so close together,
How close?
with one being significantly grander, would take attention away from hers and create unnecessary stress for our family, who will have to juggle both events. I told her that I understand her concerns, but I've been planning this wedding for over a year and it means a lot to me.
She's been planning it for over a year. How long has the sister been planning it?
We don't know, but it seems like she's been planning since before the sister. That's what I'm picking up.
I'm picking it up. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
And it means a lot to me to have it the way I've always imagined it. I also pointed out that our cultural backgrounds are different and both weddings will be special in their own ways. Additionally, postponing my wedding would be a huge inconvenience and financial burden for us, given the extensive preparations and bookings already in place. That's another thing. If you've already booked, I think it's almost like not even who started planning first, but like really if you've booked first.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, well now I've done the due diligence of making it actually
Because you
executing.
can say I've started planning my wedding at any,
I was born planning my
I'm
wedding.
planning my wedding right now. Planning my wedding right now.
Big stuff.
Yeah. I'm planning it before I even meet the person.
Dude, my man is prepared, y'all.
And it's going to be an Indian wedding too.
Let's freaking go. Now that's some cultural appropriation I could get behind.
Yeah, dude, what if I had like a 3-day Indian wedding?
Well, maybe your partner will be Indian.
Yeah, no, I'm like, what if my partner's not Indian?
Oh.
But I have a 3-day Indian
You know what?
wedding.
I'm behind it. I don't even care. Let's freaking go.
Come in on my white horse.
Oh,
The
man.
thing is, Indian weddings are so much
Dude,
sicker.
they're
I
just
want
the
to
best.
ride. Can I ride in on a white horse and like not be Indian? Is that allowed? Sophia, is that what? I can't ride in on a white horse? Why not?
If
Give me a
you're
reason.
just riding it on a white horse, I'm not the.
Yeah, I want to ride in on a white horse.
I don't know.
Dude,
I would get so much flack for that, though. I think all my Indian friends would.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm not the person.
I'm gonna ask Ishan if he
also,
will get
I
mad at me.
believe it's a salwar, basically the men's, I mean, like black tie suit.
Yeah.
Dude, so fire. Oh, anyways, our wedding dates are 3 weeks apart.
That is close, but OP started planning it first, but it is on the upper limit.
It is pushing it 100%. Chat, did we get 100% confirmation?
Whenever we say chat, I just think brain rot.
Yeah, guys, we need an LFG chat. We need an LFG on what the date was. We need a W date check.
I said 4 weeks. Oh wait, I don't. Who booked the date first? I feel like it was OP. I think it was OP, but I'm not sure.
I think so too. That's what it's looking at. Everyone just saying Sam needs a bouncy castle and that Sophia should marry first.
Sophia should marry first.
If I marry first, Sam's gonna have to wait a while.
Oh, true.
Why? What do you mean?
I don't plan to get married until I'm at least 29, probably 30s.
Oh yeah, that's a long
So
time.
you'd have to be 35.
People get married at 50, like my ex to her husband, who is 50.
Shout out. Let's get back to this wedding. We have separate guest lists, but there is some overlap with some close family and mutual friends. My mother is siding with Sarah and believes that I should change my wedding to a fully Christian ceremony, or at least incorporate significant Christian elements. How does that help solve the guest overlap issue?
I feel like the sister doesn't want this to happen because she's worried it'll overshadow, and the mom doesn't want it to happen because she's Christian.
Yeah. They're just like picking their different
and they're like,
reasons.
we agree, but for different reasons.
I'm sensing stinkiness.
Yeah.
I'm sensing some stinkiness.
There might be something big brewing here. Chat, is this an ICU chat? Chat, put an ICU if that is.
Dude, it's so bad.
Woo! My father, on the other hand, supports my decision and believes that both of us should have the weddings we want. That's a balance.
What a crazy concept. Everyone should have the wedding that they want.
Your wedding should be the way you want it? I might need a second to just to let it sink in. This is a lot right here. Sarah was very upset and accused me of being selfish and not caring about her feelings. She thinks I'm prioritizing my wedding over my family's well-being. My mother has started going overboard, constantly criticizing my decision and even threatening not to attend my wedding unless I change it to a Christian ceremony. Wow.
That's stinky. Wow, the mother is going whack.
Yeah,
Wacko.
this is sad.
Wacko.
She's been calling extended family members to persuade them to side with Sarah and boycott my wedding if I don't comply.
What the heck? Also, 3 weeks is like enough time. 4 weeks would be better. What?
Sophia just texted in our group chat, "Hey, I'm hungry. Riley, could you help me get some food?" Riley's reply, "Nice, eat air."
Actually, I said I need food, please.
Please.
I also would like food.
Just in the air.
Can you tell Riley to get Bay Cities?
He says, "I can hear you."
Get Bay Cities, Riley.
I can't eat that.
They have no
Eat
veggie?
air.
I don't want the veggie.
Eat air. They can do a Caprese. Can we get Bay City? Do you want Bay Cities?
If you could just heat up my breast of chicken.
Heat up that breast.
That'd be great.
John likes to caress a warm breast.
In my mouth of chicken. Good catch. All right, guys, our lunch plans aside, let's get back to the story here. So he has been trying to mediate, but the situation is getting more tense by the day. Sarah and I have always had a complicated relationship, and while we both support each other, there's often been underlying tension due to our different personalities and choices. Now I'm feeling torn. I don't want to hurt my sister or cause any family rift, but I also don't want to sacrifice my dream wedding. Also, I'm not in her bridal party or any other things but her wedding, as I have mine. So she's not a bridesmaid or the maid of honor or anything. But is she including the sister in hers?
Based on that, I still don't think so.
Yeah, a little confusing there. Also, I inherited a lot from my great-grandfather, as he was Hindu. He gave it to me, as I was also Hindu, and he also gave my sister 40% what he gave me, so no one is helping with the wedding costs.
Oh, so OP doesn't even need to pander to anyone, which is great.
Oh, yeah, because, OP's paying it for herself. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister I won't change my wedding? There is an edit, but let's stop real quick. Is OP the a-hole?
No, OP is not the a-hole.
If anything, we don't have 100% confirmation on this. If the sister has not paid for anything yet, wouldn't you be like, hey, could you move your date? And so they won't be overshadowing each other.
Yeah, I don't see what the issue is.
Even have yours like first or earlier or something. If you want to have yours first, hey, great. Maybe that's a way of being like.
Yeah, you could be like the opener.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like, it does on the surface, it sounds like it sucks to be like, hey, move your wedding date. But in reality, it's like, hey, I booked my stuff before you. So I don't know. What do you think, producer Riley?
I think it's a load of BS, honestly.
Ooh,
and
talk that talk.
And OP just needs to figure it out.
Dude, OP's sister.
OP's sister needs to figure that out.
That's right.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's figured out. So we did it.
Yeah. Basically, the TLDR is OP and her sister are both having a wedding 3 weeks within each other. OP's is Indian, so you know it's going to be lit. Her sister's is going to be Christian, so you know it's going to be not as lit.
What? What do you mean?
Dude,
I've been to some
Indian
Christians.
wedding. Look.
Oh, I haven't been to an Indian wedding then.
They are fire.
Okay.
But all that aside, basically OP's already booked all the venues, is paying for everything herself. And the sister's like, hey, you need to move the date and do all the stuff. It's like, but OP's already like did the planning and execution to pay and book for things. So it's like, I think the true solution is to ask the sister to move her date. So that way there's more space. And you could say, hey, like, do yours first, like have yours, be the first one that people attend, which maybe that's like a little bit of a give. You know what I mean? I don't know.
That's true. I have a quick okay story time about weddings. So So I have on my dad's side. So I didn't. Okay, this is kind of a little longer. I had a grandfather that died, but he had like 3 wives. And whenever he died, it joined another family that my dad didn't know about. So he basically got a sister. And with that sister, there was 6 kids. And I grew up with the kids. But one, like from January to June, 3 of the siblings got married. They're all girls. And they moved their house. But like they had back-to-back weddings. And they were all fine with it.
Yeah, because if you did, like that's 6 months, right? If you just like kind of place them.
It's like every 2 months there was a wedding.
Every 2 months, that's cool. I feel like people have a time they can.
Sounds great. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
And 2 of them were twins and they married twins.
That's crazy.
Which means if they were twins marrying twins, then their children were genetically identical but considered cousins.
Yeah, and they do have kids now.
That's insane.
It is insane.
That sounds like a terrible Reddit story, but is perfectly sweet and innocent. And just like an incredible coincidence.
No incest involved.
But speaking of no incest, should we talk to our fans and do a call-in? Or do we
Maybe
have
I
more?
should quickly close out the story and then we'll call in our people. All right, let's do this. So, Edit, a lot of people have asked who scheduled their wedding first.
That's what we need to know.
Thank you.
That's actually the smoking gun.
This is true. And I have to say, it was me. That's right. We pretty much surmised that. When I was proposed to, I asked all my family when they would be available and chose my wedding date that took around 3 to 4 weeks. During that time, my sister and her boyfriend were having a fight and weren't talking. I don't know why, but once he proposed, my sister asked that we have our wedding on the same day and same venue. And I have a Christian wedding like her. I declined and she decided to go cry to our mom, but my dad wouldn't take any of my mom's BS. She ended up choosing a date 3 weeks later. Okay, that is like even more like, if you're like, you can't say in the same instance, hey, you're overshadowing my wedding, and literally your first attempt is to choose the same date and venue. That makes no sense.
Maybe she wants to do like a double wedding.
Like a joint wedding, but like you have to both be really on.
Yeah.
Like I, for a few years, did a joint birthday with a friend that was born literally one day before me. And it was great at first. And then it had its time. And it was like, okay, I'm ready to have my own birthday again. So like you really have to be like about it to do the dual wedding.
And also that's your day. Like the wedding is your day.
You go from discussing all of the details between 2 people to now between 4 people.
Yeah. Shy Little Writer says, quote, "Can I piggyback on your wedding, but you do it my way?" That's basically what the ask is.
Yes, you're infiltrating, you're Trojan horsing to just completely consume it.
One of the twins were trying to get piggyback on the other ones because they wanted to save money. So they were going to have a twin wedding.
I mean, honestly, if there is any wedding on planet Earth, 2 identical twins getting married, I mean, that's like, that'll go viral.
And everyone knows the reason people get married is to go viral.
Bear, 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 bear. I mean, it would.
Am I the a-hole for not wanting to break no contact with my family, even though they finally reached out after 7 years? And this is, again, to answer the question, are there certain parenting styles that are bad? I feel like in the first one, we learned that you can go too far. And this seems like, based off the title, this is not a good parenting style to emulate. All right. So throwaway 9283992 says, for whatever reason, my parents didn't want me.
Aw.
Depressing note. Once they had my brother, who we'll call Adam, I was pretty much ignored. They didn't abuse me, but I was pretty neglected. Everything was about Adam and how smart he was, or how athletic he was, or how he was just the best thing since sliced bread. Then there's me, a pretty average kid who got decent grades, didn't play sports, wasn't super popular, and liked to read books. I can't tell you how many times I heard, why can't you be more like Adam?
Was Adam younger or older?
Younger.
Ooh.
So they had OP and then had Adam, and OP got pushed to the side.
Oh, dude,
That's really sad.
my brother had to deal with this because I'm older and I'm a little bit more ambitious, and my brother is sort of like more laid back, but he can like make more friends and stuff. So he had more friends and everything, but teachers would be like, "Aren't you more like your brother?"
Yeah.
And, oh, that was always so hard to hear.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's Tate.
I
Just
think
let it be Tate.
Just let it be. Yeah. I don't think.
Coming from your younger brother though.
Yeah, that's tough.
Ugh.
No, I don't think that I was ever really compared to Sam too much. I think that we both had our own stuff going on, so I don't think we were ever, and we were both really good at school, so I don't think we were ever like compared.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It was just like, Sam, you tell us too much, and Sophia, you don't tell us anything. Why can't you guys meet in the middle?
That's interesting because I would think you tell too much and Sam's just telling him enough.
What?
Like, as a guy, I don't really tell my mom much stuff, what's going on.
No, Sam tells my mom everything, and I don't tell her much.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. We're working on it. Boundaries. What made me cut off my family was when they didn't attend my high school graduation. Adam had gotten hurt that morning, a sprained ankle, I was eventually told, and our parents rushed him to the ER because he swore up and down that he broke his leg. I only got one text from my mom telling me that they would make it up to me with a dinner to some family restaurant I mildly enjoyed. Oh, sorry, they didn't go to our graduation.
Oh.
Ooh. They didn't go. Oh man, that really sucks. I was done after that. I had been used to being neglected or forgotten about, but I thought they would at least attend my graduation. I moved out that summer to go live with my cousin, female 30, and her wife in Arizona. Then I blocked them, and they haven't been in my life since. My family did try to get into contact with me after I left, but it was mostly just telling me I was a bad daughter and overly sensitive and didn't care about Adam. Years later, I still don't have contact with them. I am now married to my husband, John, male 26, who loves me and treats me like I matter. Oh. And also for context, OP is female 25 and was 18 when they left, I believe.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We also have a daughter, 2 female, that I love more than the world itself. I have a close-knit group of friends and a job that makes decent money that I enjoy. I'm not saying my life is perfect or a dream or anything, but it's definitely leagues better than my childhood. Which brings me to last week, when my cousin called to tell me they had a message from my parents and my brother. So this is after 7 years. This is 18 to 25, right?
Ooh.
7 years. And they finally reached out. That's
I feel like they want something.
Yeah.
What do you want? Does Adam need a liver?
Yeah.
Or a kidney?
What a good conspiracy theory. What a good conspiracy theory.
Just because I've been out of the game doesn't mean I don't know how to play.
He's been gone for a week, but he comes back fighting.
That's right.
Yeah.
I feel like Adam needs something.
I think Adam needs something. Because why would you reach out to your child that you've neglected for 7 years out of the blue? Which brings me to last week, when my cousin called to tell me they had a message from my parents and my brother. This isn't anything new, but the message itself was, instead of the usual blame game, my cousin told me they wanted to apologize for everything. With Father's Day coming up, they were hoping I could come down to visit with my family and we could have a discussion. Actually, should we put a poll up?
What do you want to put?
Put why do you think they reached out, and then do liver, like brother needs a liver or something like that.
Brother needs organ?
Brother needs organ, or
they miss her.
They miss her, yeah. Oh, yeah. Someone said, Emma Bear says, well, OP is a child, so the parents want to see their grandkid. I think that could be true, but I also think that usually that happens when the kid's born, and it's been about 2 years. So I feel like if they wanted to have a relationship with their grandkid, they might have come earlier. But maybe. I know most people would scream, don't, it's a trap, they want something from you. But I'm not so sure. For one thing, none of them have ever reached out to apologize for anything towards me. But I still have connections to my extended family, so I have info about my parents and Adam from them. None of them are sick or dying and need an organ. They're not in debt and need help with finances. My parents aren't hoping to retire and want to be supported. Adam doesn't need help with student loans, scholarships kid, so it could be genuine. Okay, so if he said it's not the organ, but at the same time, I don't know if I care enough to have a discussion. My life has been great without them, so why do I need them? I wanted them as a kid, but not anymore. Ugh. However, John says this could be a genuine olive branch since they never apologize. He might be right. Even if I don't agree to have contact, I might finally get some closure or at least some answers as to why they didn't want me or why Adam was so much better than me. Should I hear them out or just tell my cousin to tell them to go step on Legos? I'll take any advice at this point. And there are some relevant comments, but I think everyone said the organ.
Yeah,
which apparently is not true, but we'll see. Comments from Trash Cat Attack says, from someone who has also no contact with immediate family members, I suggest you weigh the cost benefit. What will it cost you? Emotionally, financially, physically, and is it worth the risk? Walk through the possible outcomes, best case and worst case scenarios. For me, if they wanted to apologize and talk, I wouldn't be willing to take the time and money to fly to them and do it on their terms. They could have sent a letter, right? The answer is yes. Due to the gaslighting and psychological manipulation my family has put me through, I'd want it all in writing. I'd hear them out, but want to see it before I gave them a chance. And OP says they don't actually have my address, so they couldn't send a letter directly to me, but they could send it to my cousin and she could always give it to me. Square half 4672 says, I would not contact them. I highly doubt they are remorseful. It's likely that they want something. You have your family now, husband and child. Why allow your parents to say anything? And OP says, if they did want something, I feel like my cousin would have told me or warned me that something was going on. Yet there aren't any signs they need anything other than have a discussion with me, apparently. And DT Ginger says, they want access to your daughter. I would be cautious. OP says, I thought so too, but my husband said if they wanted access to our daughter, they would have tried to reach out when she was born. Unless my brother is suddenly sterile, it's not like they won't get more grandkids. Spluck says, girl, you just got past the most miserable babysitting years, the years where you're most exhausted and likely need a break. It makes total sense for self-absorbed grandparents to only reach out now that she's a precious 2-year-old. In their minds, now they can be fun grandparents instead of helpful ones. And OP says, reading this reminded me of what my mother used to say to me all the time. You were a difficult baby, always crying and whining and needy. Your brother was so easy and such an angel. Now I'm thinking you might be onto something, like maybe they didn't want to see my baby in her infancy because they thought she would be just like me, and God forbid they deal with that again. And there is an update. Close it out. What was I gonna say? Actually, can we put another poll up of does OP go contact their parents? Should OP reach out? And I think I am of the mind of, even if they are, they want something, I think having that, trying anyway and trying to create that relationship, and having the hope that it could exist. Yeah. I think that's a positive thing. I think wanting something better for yourself and wanting to improve that relationship is always a positive thing, even if it ends up being, even if it ends up that they want something or they're toxic. I think just that attempt is not.
I say every 7 years you give it an attempt.
Yeah, I think
and
having
if they disappoint you the first time, then you give it another 7 years.
I think it's worth it. I don't think that even if you get hurt in the process, I think that it's still worth it to have tried. But again, if you don't want to try, that is a completely different story. You don't have to. But if you have that feeling of, I want to try, I want to see if they, could be better, then I think that is a valid feeling.
All right, what do they want? Let's get to the real stuff. What do they want?
Hey guys, a lot of you gave solid advice on my first post, and I really appreciate it. I did ask my friends for their own advice too, but they had more bust their kneecap school of thought. Funny, but not so helpful at the time. Anyway, even though a lot of you warned me, I was just too curious to not talk to my family. Still, I told my cousin to tell them I was not meeting them for Father's Day. I had always intended to reject the idea. I wanted to celebrate John and my father-in-law for being awesome. Aw, that's nice. And that I wanted to do a Zoom meeting instead.
Ooh, smart.
I was expecting them to pitch a fit, but they agreed. Yesterday, we met on Zoom. I made sure to have the meeting at my cousin's house because my house is my space, and I don't like intruders, whether in person or virtual. John was hiding in the room out of sight, and my daughter was with my cousin's wife. Long story short, my mother is a revolving door, and both of my parents are idiots. Oh my God.
This looks juicy.
Oh my God.
Looks really juicy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Is OP not their kid? Or at least
Wait, no, stop. What?
That's what she said. Her mom was a revolving door.
What? Wait, that is a very creative way of saying
she had an affair.
Wow, that is very creative.
Okay, I'm gonna
Napoleon also had multiple affairs.
Oh my God. To make it a long story short, my mother had an affair with my Uncle Rick.
Wait, Uncle Daddy? Uncle Daddy? Can we get some Uncle Daddies in the chat?
Uncle Daddy, no.
Uncle Dad?
Male 60, my dad's older brother, and got caught after she found out she was pregnant.
Oh.
My dad forgave her and agreed to raise me as long as they never did a paternity test.
Oh.
Apparently, it was easier to act as my father if he didn't have confirmation that I was his brother's kid.
Oh,
well, apparently it wasn't, because you still didn't treat her as your child. Oh my God. Spoiler alert, I am not Rick's kid.
What? I'm confused. Okay.
Unfortunately for me, I have always been my dad's bio daughter.
Wait, she said unfortunately?
Yeah. So, okay, before we move on, I think this is what's going on. OP finds out their parents come in and they say, hey, when you were conceived, me, the mom, was cheating on your dad and had an affair with his brother. And we thought that you were his brothers. And so they're saying we treated you like that because your dad thought that you weren't his daughter.
Mm.
And then after all of these years, they find out that she is both of their biological daughters. And they're probably like, oh my God, we treated her like this, but she was our kid. Either way, they would have sucked. Even if she wasn't their biological daughter, you would have sucked. You guys suck so much. This is so sad. Oh my God. Rick apparently can't have kids. And my dad only found out on Mother's Day when Rick's wife made a joke about it.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. JC says, so they raised her under the assumption that she was an affair baby, treated her like crap. Then they realized it, in fact, was the dad's child, and they want to apologize now. Screw them. Yes.
Facts.
They suck.
Out of here.
Yeah. Mafita says, yeah, right. The child is to blame. Very good parents. Yeah. Even if it was an affair baby, why would you ever treat a child like this?
They didn't do that.
What?
The
they
kid.
didn't do the affair. They were just the baby. That was you. You did the affair. So my parents just resented me all this time because they were convinced I was Rick's child despite not having proof. It didn't help that I was just so mediocre compared to Adam, like how Rick is compared to my dad.
Mm.
What I mean by that is that my dad works his fancy desk job in a titled position and Rick is just your average truck driver who effed your wife. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you were going to compare Rick to you.
Oh, my God.
So clearly that must have meant I couldn't be my father's child. They begged for forgiveness. My mom tried to blame my dad for not taking the test. My dad tried to blame it on my mom for being a truck stop for Rick. Yikes. But they both wanted me to forgive them because they were sick with regret of how they treated me over a misunderstanding. No, it wasn't a misunderstanding. You guys were just awful parents. They swore up and down that even if they weren't always there for me, they still loved me and were still my parents, and we can be a real family now that the misunderstanding was finally cleared up. Even Adam was pushing hard for it.
Ooh.
People asked about our relationship in my last post, but there's not really much to say. He was like a roommate. I was never bullied by him, and he didn't really interact with me, though he definitely reveled in our parents' favoritism. Still, they were all very sorry, but I had to understand why my parents acted like they did. Now everyone wants me to make up and be part of my life again and be the best grandparents and uncle they can be to my daughter. I obviously told them, no! Anyone with eyes could see they just wanted forgiveness to make themselves feel better. I told them that my life was better without them and I didn't need them anymore.
Oof.
They got mad at that and called me heartless and cruel and a bad daughter for being so unforgiving and for not being more understanding towards them. Because it was just a mistake that I had a crappy childhood and had to play second fiddle to Adam. I just told them to forget I existed and ended the call.
Wow.
Then I burst into tears. Ugh. My husband had to comfort me. Their insults didn't hurt me, even after all this time of no contact. I'm used to that. But all that time, I felt like crap and wondered what I did to deserve my mistreatment was just a waste. All because my parents were massive douche canoes with a chicken nugget for a brain. I'm glad I didn't waste money to go see them. I'm also glad I heard them out for my own closure. They're trying to aggressively reach out and contact me, even getting other relatives to do so. I've already got a bunch of emails and texts this morning, ranging from pleads to just hear them out and insults about being cruel and heartless. I've been ignoring them because I've washed my hands of my family and will continue to remain in no contact. Oh yeah, thank you for all your advice. It meant a lot. And that is where we will end this story.
Wow.
Boy, oh boy.
Good choice.
Yeah.
That seems like the best way to go, no contact.
Yeah, OP heard them out, realized that they still sucked, and moved on. And I think that gave her a measure of closure of knowing why her parents treated her like this, and was like, wow, they still suck.
Yeah, and I'm glad that she has a solid family with her husband's
side. Yeah, she has a support
side.
system. Yeah,
that helps a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Elias Magic says, chicken nuggets for brains is my new favorite insults. I will be adding that to my repertoire. It's very funny.
So I'm gonna do, this might be a rhetorical question, but should OP forgive her parents? Be the bigger person?
As in, should she forgive them and
still go no contact?
Oh, still go no contact, yeah. I think that there is a level of, I think she should remain no contact 100% because these parents suck. But I think there is a level of like forgiveness that you can provide just to move on. Not to say that they deserve that forgiveness or you owe them forgiveness, but truly like the type of forgiveness that's just like, you know what? These are these people. Let's move on. I'm going to forget them.
Yeah, like
not as in you have to go and say like, I forgive you. It can just be like an internal thing of like, whatever. They have their own issues that do not revolve around me.
And sometimes you might need to, the first time you forgive might not be it. You still might have to like wake up and always forgive.
Yeah.
Like my pastor, his dad was abusive towards him, and he had to wake up every day and still forgive his father, even though he still had that resentment. And I think you guys can disagree with me, but I do think you can forgive, but there still are consequences to the actions they have done.
I think that I think there are different types of forgiveness. I think there is external forgiveness in which someone apologizes or someone does something to you and you say, I forgive you. And then I think there is an internal forgiveness in which someone has wronged you and you do not want to go say to them, I forgive you. But for your own benefit and for your own ability to move on and, leave that in the past, you have to be like, you know what? Their actions are not about me. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything to deserve. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Muffina says, if you forgive, don't forget. Yeah. I think I think you don't have to, I don't think you have to necessarily, forget what they did to you and let them back in your life, but it's a forgiveness for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
Elias Magic says she doesn't need to forgive. She needs to take this information and find her own peace from it. I think that is along the lines of what my idea of internal forgiveness is. But I understand what you're saying, yeah. She now has proof that it was literally nothing she did wrong that causes this treatment. Yeah, agreed. And Titania says forgiveness, like Riley is describing, is for the person who is forgiving. It's giving yourself permission to let go and move on. It does not absolve the other person of guilt or make up for the pain.
Yeah.
Completely agree. Yeah. But
man, that was... That's a story.
Yeah, but that is the whole story, and that is to answer the question, are there certain parenting styles that are bad? Yes.
I read two like neglectful.
Yeah, in to varying degrees. Yeah.
Very hands off.
Yeah. Yeah, like this, we had the sister who did learn from her actions and realized that, she had to be more hands-on, and then this family who just neglected their kids and sucked. And in the end, they've still sucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ravra King says, I think there's a saying that goes something like, not forgiving people is allowing them to live rent free in your head. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I think just my idea of internal forgiving is just like letting them leave your mind, letting yourself just not allow them to live in your head rent free. Yeah. What you said. Ravra King, you said it better than me. JC says, I think there is internal forgiveness versus forgiving someone directly. Absolutely. And I think that you do not always have to forgive someone directly. I think that is not always, they don't always deserve that. But I think internal forgiveness is helpful for moving on.
My friend's stepdaughter threw a tantrum and everyone blames me.
As they should.
I'm 55 female, met my friend's stepdaughter to be 14 yesterday. I introduced myself and I told her it was nice to meet her. Is it? I had heard that she was amazing by multiple people and I was looking forward to meeting her. She ignored me and didn't answer. I thought maybe she didn't hear me, so I repeated. She put in earbuds to emphasize that she is ignoring me and she walked off.
Damn!
I mean,
stone cold, angsty teenager vibes. Gotta respect it.
Angsty teen vibes.
Come on.
I hate my mom. It's giving that.
And I hate my dad.
Ooh. So she's deliberately being rude and apparently doesn't care to meet me. Not my future stepdaughter. She doesn't have to like me. Her choice. I chose not to be a part of the drama. But we did choose this story from Sunflower 971 and it came from r/OK story time. If you want your story read, drop it in there, okay?
It's giving Disney episode.
This one?
Yeah. Because stepdad and stepdaughter getting along. Does Disney do that or Nickelodeon?
I don't know.
I think that's...
You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. But when I think of like I feel like stepmom and like Cinderella, like that's like the Disney dynamic that I know about.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking like Zach and Cody, but we're more like Cinderella.
Oh, wait.
She wasn't a stepmom.
Wait, who's the stepmom and stepdad in Zach and Cody?
There is none.
Oh, okay.
Just their single bio mom.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Lame.
With my brothers. One day we'll put a side by side with the three of us. Maybe we'll get them as a guest one day.
Ooh. Maybe we could.
See. We'll cook. Anyways, let's get back to the story. So we all went to dinner as planned. There were a total of 9 of us, and I unfortunately ended up seated next to her at the table. Wonderful dinner, aside from her ignoring everyone equally. Anyways, I asked her to please pass the ketchup when she was done using it. She ignored me and set it just out of my reach after she used it. Oh, this is top tier teen angst right here, boy.
Dude, it's so funny though.
This smells like teen spirit. So I reached over her to get it. She started yelling at me for getting in her personal space. I told her that I'd asked her twice and she had ignored me both times. See, you're playing, you gotta fight fire with these kids, but I digress. We'll see what happens.
But put the ketchup away from her.
You can be like, you just emotionally attacked me. You invaded my emotions.
Whoa.
How about that?
Yeah, dude. Inside out.
Beat you at your own game, son. I'd kind of had it at that point. I then added that next time to simply pass the ketchup or don't be upset when someone reaches for it. She went into complete meltdown mode. Now, apparently to some, I am the bad guy here, as she is a child. A few others thought that I handled it well. So am I the a-hole here, or is my friend's future stepdaughter a mess? I'm literally posting it on an Am I the a-hole over a ketchup incident. If you were wondering, she is not on the spectrum. I am. Why? And that's why I'm asking. Thank you. A quick edit for clarification. I wasn't clear about the 9 of us that went out to the dinner. It was a combination of adults and teenagers. Adults at one table, teens at a connecting table. Adults sat first, kids filled in, and she was the last person seated. Now we have relevant comments, and we have a big fat update 2 days later. 48 hours after where we at in this moment of time. But first off, we have to answer OP's question. Is OP the a-hole for snapping back at the angsty teen?
I mean, did he really snap back that much?
Dude, first off, this angsty teen is an angsty teen.
Ultimate angst.
Second off, it's so obvious. It is, if what OP is saying is true, it is so obvious that this teen is just like messing with them and like creating these moments.
Yeah, it's like the she's like poking the bear, and she's doing it in a funny way. It's pretty funny.
It is tragically hilarious.
Like moving the ketchup bottle just a little out of reach, asking a question, and then putting headphones in. Like, it is definitely rude, but kind of hilarious to the point where she feels like the archetype of what an angsty teen would look like. If Hollywood was like,
yes,
get me an angsty teen, they would pick her.
This is top tier trolling.
Top tier.
Which I mean,
I like to the point where I kind of respect it. Like, it's a bad idea, but it's so perfectly executed to the point where I'm like, damn, respect.
Michael Jordan of trolling. Listen, when you love the game that much, when you do it for the love of the game, this is a stranger.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing that she gains from doing this. It's just because it's like her passion.
This is for the love of the game right here.
Yeah.
Can you fault it?
Can you fault it? I don't think so.
It's hard.
I don't think so.
It's hard. But in all seriousness, so OP not the a-hole.
Not the a-hole. Obviously, this 14-year-old kid is the a-hole, but a lot of 14-year-old kids are.
What do we do?
What do you do? I think you try to out-petty her. You try to go, you lower yourself to the teenage level, much like that. Sorry, I'm not Cody Co. Morally. That I didn't save it.
But you tried.
Mentally.
But still,
feel bad. Feel terrible.
You can get out of it.
Awful.
I don't think you can get out
but
of
let me save you here, pal.
Thanks. Pull me out of this hole.
I know we're joking, but I honestly think that like if you fight fire with fire in this situation, because I truly honestly believe that she's like, oh, look at this freaking 55.
Oh, dude,
bro,
gross.
you are such a boomer.
You're so old.
You're such a boomer, and
in her eyes, 55-year-olds are like basically my people these days.
And apparently mine, according to everyone on the show.
It's been yours, buddy.
Yeah, point in case.
It's been yours, buddy.
So I think, and we're at more of an advantage because like we're younger. We talk to the youth.
Yeah, we know about the youth.
Like,
we know about the skippies.
We can fight fire with fire. Actually, I might take back my advice, because what if OP tries to do it and just comes off as such a boomer trying to use
like the teenage
lingo,
angst moves.
you know what I
Well,
mean?
no, dude, I just think you ignore. I literally just
That's what you do.
that doesn't go out of style. You know, ignoring kids have been ignoring parents from the beginning of time. Old people from the beginning of time. You read ancient texts from Greece, and the old people are like, damn, kids these days, they always have their nose in the scroll. You know, like it's like people have been the old have been at war with the young since the age like the end of time. And I think the only move here is to just ignore.
Put in your head.
Yeah.
When they
Put
ask
in
for the
your
ketchup.
headphones. Yeah. Put the ketchup, squeeze the ketchup into your ears.
Analogies. But guys, we have some relevant comments.
Just so cute with your shirts. I just loved it.
Thank you, dude. You know,
Gosh.
chew on this. If we
Chew
did
on
this
this.
at a,
Chew on this.
if we wore this at like VidCon or the events that we're going to, and we approached people as we do, overbearing or intriguing?
It's like a trademark. It's giving the orange polo
It's giving
vibe.
Oh, it totally is.
Because like, oh, we're the matching shirt guys. They will remember us.
Are
That is
these
such a good point,
our orange polos?
dude. How
These
we have
could
evolved.
be our new orange polos.
And I won't look like a assistant coach at a community college football team anymore.
No, although that did work for you.
It was.
It's giving.
It had a time.
It's giving vibes.
It's giving vibes.
It's giving vibes.
But let's give these relevant commenters a chance to say their piece. So, a commenter says, "What did you say / do? If the stepdaughter acts like this towards her too, then the marriage is doomed before it starts." And OP responds, "My friend pretty much froze. She wasn't aware of the issue earlier, just heard her melt down. She adores this girl. I don't want to cause an issue between them. I didn't really put my friend on the spot. Yeah, this kind of could be tricky because this is it's a newly forging stepdaughter-daughter relationship, which is stepmom-stepdaughter relationship. That can be tricky.
Tricky.
Someone asking someone else to pass. OP says, I was annoyed from earlier, but let it go. Had she not been rude earlier, I likely would have gotten the ketchup anyways. A seating arrangement meant that no one else would be able to pass it. Another commenter says, not the a-hole. What is her problem? She seems like a brat and not in the good new summer way.
Yeah.
OP says, no clue. My friends are much younger than I am. Maybe she doesn't like grandmothers. Oh, dude, OP's also a grandmother. That just adds to the boomer allegations.
To the boom.
It adds to the boom.
Yeah, dude. The boom is loud.
Yeah. Another commenter says she relishes the drama. OP says,
nice ketchup relish.
Ooh. Nice.
Condiments.
This guy hosts a show. OP says, light bulb. You are so right. I literally didn't think of it like that, but you are so right. She went from invisible to being a center of attention. Bingo. Thanks for your laughs, Riley.
The way you said that.
What's that
so
from
good.
again?
I don't know. It was
Light
funny.
bulb. It's from a thing. Anyways,
Sounds like Despicable
Edison?
Me.
not Edison.
I mean, it was.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
Well, technically.
The Despicable Me. Despicable Me.
Yeah.
Light bulb.
Yes, there it is. Thank you. Commenter says, exactly. She was invisible, last to be seated, but I doubt these are her main worries at the moment. A 14-year-old soon-to-be stepdaughter? For this not to be a minefield would be strange. You are a friend of her soon-to-be stepmother, meeting her for the first time. What does it mean to say she had heard that she was amazing, quote unquote? To me, it seems ingratiating and patronizing. I say a mild you're the a-hole because you seem completely unaware of how this poor child made. OP responds, I get that it's a minefield now. I just didn't realize there were so many live mines that no one knew were there. Responding to my comment about saying that I heard she was amazing, you aren't the first to question it. It wasn't meant in any way other than a statement of fact. I've heard many great things about her from her soon-to-be stepsisters. She may have felt invisible, but I don't know why she would. Maybe you're right, and I am clueless. She was at the dinner with members of her family and my friend and her teens. Not her teens. That's, bro, the boomer allegations are just growing.
Her teens?
Her teens. And my friend and her teens.
My friend and her teens.
Her teen friends, I guess.
Yeah.
The allegations.
Youths.
These youths. The youths.
The youths. I hate them. They're always coming up with new slang.
They're TikToking.
They're TikToking. I do feel left out. I don't know the skibbities. I'm just out of the loop. The world's moving so fast, and I'm not catching up.
How does one skibidi goon on their edge case?
Yacht.
On the yacht.
I'm a baby Gronk yacht.
Oh yeah, come on.
So fun to talk like that.
It's just so fun. Sorry guys, I know we know you hate it. We know you hate it. Thank you for indulging. We will stop now. So I tagged along at my friend's invite to the dinner, but thanks for the input. Another commenter says, don't take it personally. It's 100% non-personal, and don't judge her too harshly. She's probably in a very confused period of her life, which in fairness, 14-year-olds in the new step-parent relationship, I can see the angst brewing.
Also, all right, even if you have a very, comfortable, solid, unchanging family dynamic, the changes going on inside a 14-year-old's body are amazing and scary.
The hormones be hormoning.
The hormones be hormoning.
That's what happens. Great time for Anthony to walk in. Opie says, thank you. I don't, as in don't judge her too harshly. As far as judging her harshly, I intend on ignoring her in the future. If she approaches me at a later date, I will be kind. I see a lot of your comments got downvoted. Wasn't by me. Wasn't me. It seems that you have a kind heart and perhaps are looking through different understanding eyes. I'm on the spectrum, thus I don't mind criticism when I'm wrong, nor do I mind differences of opinion. Why the post asking? Glad most people said not the a-hole. I'm not looking for approval here, just that I acted accordingly. She most definitely is in a confused state right now. Personally, not a fan, but not worth holding a grudge either. Thanks. And I'm going to go down to this final relevant comment down here. Commenter says, not the a-hole. She was being deliberately rude or else possibly on the spectrum. I have to wonder what was the meltdown about. Opie responds that her space was violated. I reached to get the ketchup, but did not touch her. The comments I read, the more I'm realizing the meltdown definitely wasn't about the ketchup. I truly hope the family works everything out. A lot from behind the scenes is coming out. Yeah, once again, I think OP has had, before we get this update real quick, I think OP has a very fair and metered response. She's like, I don't hold it personally, but I'm also just going to not engage and kind of just distance. It seems like it's a tumultuous time. And
I also think he's learning a lot in these posts. He's going to Reddit to learn right now. And yes. I think that one comment that got downvoted, it's oh, look at it through her perspective. There's a lot changing. So I feel really, maybe he was a little bit behind in understanding, but he's finally catching up.
That's right. OP is also a woman. 55 female.
55 female.
Fun fact for you. So just pretend he said she. So, guys, OP was voted not the a-hole. Not the a-hole for invading the space to grab the ketchup. Let it be known here and wide. Now let's get into this update 2 days, 48 hours later. Thank you for your comments. It put a lot of different things into perspective for me. I've debated what to say to my friend and her fiance about what happened, posting this here and laying this to rest. A few things for clarification. I am a grandmother. There is no more to the story on my end, a lot more on hers. I walked into an unknown minefield. My friend called me a few hours ago, I'm assuming, to apologize. There was a huge blow up that night when they got back home. I had driven separately to the restaurant. My friend's fiance handled the situation. He asked her to explain what happened in her words. Apparently, he had overheard me ask her for the ketchup before she exploded. She explained that I'm a boomer bish. Did we not call it?
We did. We called it.
Albeit not the bish part, the boomer part, the allegations were real strong.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this bomb is going to be dropped, and we just heard the boom.
That's true. So she hates that she will have to share a bedroom. She hates that her dad is getting remarried. She hates the dress that she has to wear at the wedding. She hates that everyone except her loves her stepmother to be. She hates that her stepsisters are prettier. She hates everything. Her dad explained that he loves her, but he also loves my friend, and that the wedding is happening. My friend ended with that. No clue what their next move is, but I am out of it. It's not my place. I don't know if she's showing signs prior to that no one noticed, I feel for her. I do. I feel for all of them. My friend and her daughters are like family to me. Her fiance is a good man too. I had been told the stepdaughter really was a great kid. Why I'm wondering if this was it's part of why I'm wondering if this was her first outburst. I truly hope her stepsisters didn't hear some bad things that she had to say about them. I don't care what she thinks of me. I do care that they all have a lot to deal with before October. I'm presuming when the wedding is. I'll avoid her in the future. If she does need to have a villain in her story to cope, fine. But dang, just pass the ketchup. Boomer Bish, over and out.
Ooh, fire.
Dude, closing it out.
Kind of got some class, Boomer.
Honestly, got some class. We do have some relevant comments, but let's close out here with our closing thing, which, by the way, you can check us out live every weekday at 3 p.m.
Ooh.
Tap our freaking profile.
Do it.
And join it. But did OP handle this situation correctly?
I feel like there's just not a recognition of what it's like to be 14. I feel like not that this 14-year-old shouldn't be taken seriously, but I feel like I saw a bunch of comments in the chat where it's like, yeah, she's 14.
Yeah.
Like this is just what like 14-year-olds hate everything and don't want to talk to you.
I have a seemingly hot take at the surface that is actually not a hot take when I get into it. The husband and the stepmom to be, so OP's friends, I think they're the a-holes. For
not like parenting the kid?
Yeah, because specifically because, and I'll try to find the spot, but basically when she was like, I hate that I have to wear this wedding dress. I hate that the stepsisters are prettier than me. I hate like all of these things. There were some things in that list. Like if I'm the parent, I'm like, hey, what would make you excited to like wear at the wedding? Like, do you want to wear, I don't know, do you want to wear like a Nirvana hoodie? I don't know, whatever the kids are into.
What are the kids into?
What are these kids into?
Skibbity toilet merch?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. For me, like, I'm just like, and could we make something fun of it? I don't know. I think there's like ways to reach out to and just to understand that she's going through a tumultuous time and like, I don't know, some sort of like little olive branch.
Yeah.
That could be, maybe it's not literally exactly what I just said, but I feel like there's some things in there and that could have a little bit of, acquiescence. And I feel like the response was kind of just like, because I said so.
Yeah, well, maybe the thing is like they're not actually maybe I to walk back by like, oh, like she's just 14. Maybe that's what the parents are thinking, thus are not trying to understand like what her internal discourse is.
Yeah. And I think two things can be true at once. It can be totally unacceptable to just completely freak out on someone for reaching for a bottle of ketchup that you moved in the first place. And also true that it's like, hey, she's going through a tough time. What's something we could do to kind of make her feel a little more seen?
Why is she moving the ketchup bottle?
Why is she moving the ketchup bottle?
I want to know what motivates that. Let's peer into this little head and understand what's going on. What's going on inside her head?
That's right.
Just a
Riley
Inside Out. Riley Inside Out.
So many great kids movie references today.
Yeah.
I got something to show you guys.
Show me.
And what is that?
Michael Bay's Skibbity Toilet movie production company has apparently sent DMCA takedowns to Gary. I don't know what does this mean?
He's just making a movie out of Skibbity Toilet.
Which, by the way, our close friend Jack Gordon had told us about. He was the one who told us about the Michael Bay Skibbity Toilet collab.
Did hear about that. They're making a movie
and a TV series
about Skibbity Toilet?
Dude.
Yep.
How?
Okay, if Skibbity Toilet can have a movie and TV show, how can there not be a TV series and movie for OK?
Because Gen Alpha, my girlfriend works with kids, and a lot of these kids say, do you believe in Skibbity?
What does that mean?
Exactly. It's captivated by them. They understand it. Thus, we're going to give them what they want. This is how you connect with the younger kids these days.
This is probably actually
by believing in Skibbity.
Are you guys ready for this? I'm about to tie this back to the story. We go to the teen and we're like, listen up, kid. I am going to call Michael Bay himself
and figure out how to get you into the earliest Skibbity movie screening I possibly can. All right. Listen, I know that's what you care about.
All the kids care about it.
I'm not trying to goon the gat of excitement here, but listen, I will do my darndest to get Michael Bay on the phone and get you in the first screening I can. And that's my olive branch to you.
Well, what if you don't get it?
With Skibbity Toilet, it's like a shorts on YouTube Shorts. You know that, right?
What?
It's like the Skibbity Toilet are fighting the cameraman, and that's like
I know that.
That's like the storyline?
Yeah.
I know about that storyline. Come on, do you think I haven't watched all 64 parts of Skibbity Toilet? There's more now. I think it's like 100 or something.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
good.
dude, you're washed, bro. Only on part 64?
Of what?
Wow.
How many have you watched? Enough. But you know what is never enough?
Oh, what?
Reading these stories.
Yeah, give me part 100 of that.
Yeah.
There we
We
go.
got another app. So, I ruined family therapy by telling my dad he was a bad parent. My 18 female mom. Oh man, my 18 female mom died when I was 7.
Tone shift.
Don't shift.
Tone shift.
Damn,
Let's
that
try it
sucks.
again.
All right. Take 2.
Take 2.
My 18 female.
Look at this guy.
My 18 female mom died when I was 7.
There we go.
My father, if they do that out of context and just keep your, there you go. My father, aka step siblings, dad, remarried a year later. His new wife had 3 kids: A, 8 male, B, 6 male, C, 3 female. We're giving these real names.
Oh, yeah.
Albert. Fine. No, Albert. Albert, Boomer, and Cassandra. Albert, Boomer, and Cassandra.
Love it.
He said she wanted a dad for her kids and he wanted a mom for me. I remember telling him I didn't want a new mom. He said I would understand later. My step-sibling's dad basically stopped doing anything alone with me. No more camping nights in the backyard or movie nights, which we had done every week for years. Nothing. He spent time with all his new kids to bond. It's been 11 years and he still doesn't have time for me because he's bonding with them. Sounds like he's just trying to bond with new mom. He stopped coming to my games when I got to high school. Also, this comes from Human Dog 1732 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Submit your stories there. So his wife and I have nothing in common. I play 3 sports and I'm on the speech team. She's very girly and likes girly trips to buy clothes and makeup at different malls. She knows I don't want to go, but just tells my step-siblings' dad that she invited me. I have a teammate I play 2 sports with. Her parents have become like my own. She said she is totally fine with it. I've made sure to ask all the time because I don't want to take someone else's parents. But she's always the one to invite me over, brings her parents to my swim meets because she knows no one will be there for me.
Oh my God, dude.
Invited me to go to shopping for Mother/Father's Day gifts and says they are both for us. Her parents get me holiday gifts and say I'm always welcome.
W freaking parents and friend. That is biggest W of all time.
L for the original parents.
Yep.
Senior
well, not
night,
the deceased one.
not the deceased. Well, maybe, I don't know. We don't know if they're bad or not. They could be not good.
I guess you're technically right.
Yeah, we don't know anything. Why would you assume they're good because they're dead?
Look at me
Come
making
on.
an ass of
silly,
you and me.
Silly goose.
Here I am.
Senior night at basketball. I told her my step-sibling's dad isn't going to walk me around the floor because he doesn't even bother coming to games. She asked her dad to walk both of us, and he was happy to. In a small town, that made the paper because they thought it was sweet. My step-sibling's dad flipped out and took us all to therapy. He asked why he hadn't been asked. I said because he didn't come to games. He said he didn't know I played basketball anymore, which is a red flag.
That's part of the problem, boy.
Exactly. I asked if that's why he didn't come to swimming or softball when he couldn't miss Albert or Boomer's practices. or come to speech meets when he went to Cassandra's dance recitals. He just stared at me and said he didn't know I still did those either. I asked why he talked for days about Boomer's camping trip, but didn't ask about my senior trip to Mexico. He said he didn't know I went. I said he signed the form. He admitted he didn't read it. I asked if he remembered the last time I called him dad. He said he didn't know I stopped. I said May 13th, 2021 as a date.
Bro, time too.
If this was a court and OP was, grilling him, guilty, locked away. Mm-hmm. This is a like OP might have a future as a lawyer. Because wow.
OP's got mental receipts.
Got the chops.
Mental receipts. He said that was the day Albert, Boomer, and Cassandra started. I said, I know. You stopped being my dad when you started being theirs. I walked out of therapy. And we have an edit. We have an update. We have relevant comments, and we have another thick, juicy update. Before we get into that,
yes,
is OP the a-hole for walking out of family therapy and basically throwing down that knowledge?
Honestly, even do we know OP's age? I'm assuming teenager.
OP's 18.
18. Okay, OP's 18. OP literally just laid out the receipts and let them speak for themselves. There was no like over dramatic yelling, all of this stuff. I think OP communicated it in a way, and Anthony was saying earlier too, that sometimes you kind of like need to say something a certain way, not necessarily like yelling or whatever, but you kind of got to be just like super direct and straightforward. I think OP was super direct and straightforward without crossing the line of becoming like an a-hole.
Yeah, there was no yelling involved, and also if there's anywhere to come clean, it is family therapy. So I feel like it was the right context. It wasn't in front of a bunch of people, like in terms of in public. It was the right context. It was the right delivery. I feel like there is no way OP is an a-hole here. The dad, on the other hand, the fact that he didn't know any of the sports that she was doing, didn't know anything about her life at all, like incredible red flag.
Dude,
just so stark red flag.
So bad.
So bad.
And also that he only took everyone to like, I think in his mind, he's like, oh, I'm going to take her to therapy and show her for making this whole public showcase of like making me look like a bad dad. It's like, you literally did this to yourself.
Exactly. And it was like, he was such a bad father that another set of parents had to step in and do all of the parental things that he hadn't been doing. And it's like, those stories where it's like, the janitor had kidney failure, so the whole school got together and like raised money, and it's like, oh, that's so cute, but it also is a sign that our like the Americans like healthcare system is so unequivocally broken. It's like, oh, it's such a cute thing that like these parents walked the OP down the for the sports thing. But it's just an indicator of how broken the familial dynamic that OP has is.
That is so true.
I'm not going to lie. I thought you were going to take a turn with the janitor story because it happened in my school where they dedicated the yearbook to the janitor. And later, like before and later that year, the janitor like squeezed the butt of one of the like cheerleaders. It was so bad.
Oh my God.
So like they had to keep.
Were you expecting me to know that story?
I thought that's where you were going. I was like, no way, he knows that story.
You're like, you did some Nardwuar level like deep journalism to bring this up in OK Storytime segment.
No.
Yeah,
oh
dude.
My gosh.
Like they get him all together and it's happy, and it turns out he's a bad person. I thought that's where that was going.
No.
Okay.
But I'm sorry for that cheerleader. That sucks.
Yeah, I know.
Dude. Awful. I had an OK story time, but I don't know if I want to share it anymore. Maybe I'll share it at the end. But what do we got?
We got some updates.
Okay.
Edit. So edit. I played all three of those sports since I was a toddler, so I'm not sure why he thought I stopped. He never asked why I came home a couple hours after practice or went out on weekends for game days. When I talked about games, he said I thought I was just playing with friends because all my friends play. My update got deleted, but basically I'm getting some info on my trust and belongings I paid for. My friend's dad tried to confront my step-sibling's dad about why I can't go over anymore, but he just shut the door on him, and I check in daily with my friend or her parents via phone. My step-siblings are all mad at both their parents and are being very supportive. The verdict from Reddit is not the a-hole. We got some relevant comments. So, OP on explaining to her father how she feels about him and her friend's family. At the moment, I'm more angry that I have to miss practices for therapy and that I'm no longer allowed over to my friend's house because they're a bad influence. I'm happy he found his new family and I found mine. I'd be content with going no contact with them to have my real family back. I miss them so much. When I told him I felt like I lost my family, he cried and said he understood, then got mad and yelled at me when I told him I meant the family I had for the last few years, not him.
Bro. Dude. And I mean, like, dude, salute OP for being so very communicating, I think.
Extremely direct.
Extremely direct and not intentionally vindictively at all.
Or at least, like, I mean, even if it was vindictive, I mean, I could see like some of these setups being crafted to like cause a little bit of pain, but I think it's necessary at this point.
Yes.
Like I think this is where it's come to.
It's as close to kind of reading the facts as possible.
Yeah.
And the facts are just awful.
Yeah. She's not trying to sugarcoat it.
No. Yes.
Yeah. And Jellybus says she's very good at communicating for 18. Lily X Pilly says brutal. So, how does he not know she still does sports? I paid for the sports registration and equipment out of the trust my mom left me. I just had to go to the bank and write out a request, and the next day I'd pick up the money. He said if I wanted him there, I should have given a schedule. I told him that I don't understand why he would think I would just stop playing all the sports I had played since I was a toddler and that he didn't get schedules from my step-siblings. He got them himself. Then he just got mad and walked out. He's being confronted with all of this stuff.
Dude.
Like, finally. How did her dad not know she went to Mexico? And how did OP get a passport without a parent?
True.
I had a form signed at the beginning of the year for numbers planning for the teacher. I was 17. I got my passport after my birthday before the trip and paid for it out of my mom's trust fund. He knew I went on a trip, but didn't know where to. And OP says, I'll probably do an update soon, but basically I'm not allowed to go to my friend's house anymore because he thinks the parents are a bad influence. He says, I never told him anything about what I did, so he shouldn't be expected to know. You weren't curious enough to ask. You know? His wife says she just wanted a dad for her kids and it isn't her fault, which is true. My step-siblings have been nice and said they thought he knew about my games and would be totally okay with him skipping theirs to come to my remaining games. They have been more mad at him than anything else and told him if he can't go to mine, then he doesn't need to go to theirs. And he said that they were being brats, but they don't care. And there is a big, fat, juicy update. But it sounds like the dad is doing everything he can to ingratiate himself to his new wife.
Yeah. It is just so tragic. Also, the friend's parents, that is like the type of parent I will aspire.
Yeah.
Because that to me is chef's kiss.
Yeah, get all the kids.
Yeah.
And be kind to them, you know.
I hope.
Adopt the latchkey kids.
Yeah, adopt the latchkey kids. I kind of hope maybe that there's an awakening and there can be some sort of reconciliation. Alternatively, I think what OP said of like, OP's like, hey, look, I'm not even mad for you to go off and like have your family, but I just want to go back to the people that have actually been family to me and go no contact so I just don't have to deal with this mess.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of super fair.
Yeah. Well, I think OP is incredibly independent. Like
yes.
OP is independent financially and emotionally.
Yeah.
And so I think like, I don't even know, like, is there an, I don't know if there's anything the dad can do. I think it is unless he says, I now realize how terrible I've been treating you. I don't expect you to forgive me right now, but I will work to prove that I care about you and rebuild trust. And I know it may take years, but I'm willing to start if you can give me another chance. I think that's the only thing that he can say. And if she chooses to not give him another chance, then that's, up to her.
And it is what it is. You did nothing less than that level of an apology.
Yeah. But there is an update.
Oh,
There's an update.
Goodness.
So 4 days later, update, because a lot of people were worried about me not being able to get my things from my bio father's house and going back to therapy. Turns out it's not even yet necessary. After my last post, my stepmother wanted us all to go to the lake house. That's her happy place, safe space, sanctuary, she says, and it's her answer to everything. She wants the boys out. She sends my bio father and her sons to the lake house. Time with daughter, lake house, time alone, lake house by herself. She does photography there, and she's right. It does look like a postcard, 2-story cabin style. They never took me for the girls' trips or boys' trips, only when everyone went together. So my step siblings won't call bio father dad anymore. My stepmom says, if he isn't their dad and she isn't my mom, why are they even married?
Shut up.
My bio father asked if she wanted a divorce, and she said she didn't sign up for the drama. They argued, and we went to hang out by the lake. We've been getting along great now against the parents, which I didn't see coming. I guess like the step siblings
have joined after that whole thing. They were like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
We're riding with you. F dad.
Anyway, we went back to therapy yesterday, and my stepsis brought up that they are getting divorced. The bio father said if they can work it out in therapy. Therapist asked if it could be amicable because it's obvious that they're cold to each other. Stepmom said her kids could see bio father, but she would just want her place. He said that wasn't possible because it's actually mine because my mom had it before they were married and it's part of the prenup.
Let's freaking go. So does that mean the house was passed down to OP via the trust?
I believe so. Stepmom was livid and ugly cried, mad all the way home, then asked about the house we live in. My bio father tried to get her out of the kitchen, but she screamed, and he admitted that my grandpa gave it to my mom as a wedding gift before they were married.
Let's go.
Turns out he won't let me move out because the house is actually mine since I turned 18. So OP owns the house.
OP can kick them out.
She split the savings because they had been living way below their means. He told her most of the savings / certificates of deposits were accounts set up for me by mom's parents. She has been crying in her room and says I'm selfish for not letting her have the lake house my great grandpa built and gave to my grandpa, who gave it to my mom. And we have a relevant comment and some updates from OP. It's a short but very juicy update. But also, you can see us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. So just tap our profile. But really quick, before we get to the grand finale of this story,
please.
I believe what's happened is OP owns both the lake house and the actual house, plus a trust that the mom left. So OP kind of owns everything.
Everything.
And the dad and the stepmom own nothing. And it seems like the stepkids are on OP's side.
Mm-hmm.
And the stepmom and stepdad, or stepmom and bio dad, are fighting with each other. And the stepmom wants to leave. The bio dad wants to stay, but all the kids hate them. And it seems like the family's kind of imploding.
Dad is about to take the fattest L of any family splitting in at least OK Storytime history and probably in the history of the space-time continuum.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get worse than he he spent all these years like, oh, like let me buddy up to the kids and like basically pretend my own biological child doesn't exist just to, you know, get in with the mom. Now the mom doesn't want him. The stepkids don't want him. He doesn't have any of the houses, and Opie's got the trust fund, both the houses. Wow.
Kind of sweet.
Justice.
Kind of beautiful.
Justice is being served.
But we do have final comment to close out this story. So
Please.
Wild Black Hat says, what in the world? So she never put a cent towards those and somehow never asked herself in all those years how the assets would be split in the event of a divorce. OP responds, I doubt she ever thought about divorce until last week. Everything kind of exploded. Since they don't have a prenup, she probably thought she would get half of everything.
Well, she will get half of everything, which is nothing because he ain't owned
zero.
That.
Fat
he owns
zero.
Zero.
Yeah.
Dude. What a satisfying
story. And it's just nice when bad people get their comeuppance.
And you know, like OP, like if any 18-year-old is to inherit, you know, a lake house, a main house, a trust fund, all this stuff, it should be someone like OP.
Yeah, because OP has basically been living independently for the last like few years. And so it seems like OP has a pretty good head on their shoulders.
And the juxtaposition of the last story where it was like, you know, of the teen like moving the ketchup bottle around just to like be able to yell at someone.
Yeah.
Versus like, hey, look, OP wasn't even vindictive. OP was like, listen, you can go have your life with your family. Mazel tov. Go ahead. All I want is to just have my family and my life and my peace. That's all I want. And you can go off, be happy with the people that screwed me out of a late childhood.
Yeah.
I don't even care. That's big. That's the high road right there.
That's where that story ends.
Wow. And is that where this episode ends? Nope. Just kidding. I fooled you. But there is a big change that's about to happen. A seismic shift in activity that no one saw coming.
No one saw.
I'm leaving. The time has come. This is the couch video. The time has come where I can't do this anymore, Sam.
Oh man.
I can't. I could not stand another second being here in this seat. So I have to leave you.
Please skedaddle
immediately because Sophia's going to take my place. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, the other way. Give a warm round of applause for your Worm Queen,
Worm Queen,
and producer Anthony.
Hello, Sophia.
I'm back. I have a car. It's got a tire.
Does it smell nice?
No, they didn't clean my car.
No, I mean the tires. The tires
I didn't smell them. I didn't do anything. I just went. I got a cookie from Whole Foods.
Delicious.
And then I got gas after I paid for my tires.
Fun.
That was the whole point of my drive.
My trip. Do you know what happened to the tire? Like why it exploded all of a sudden?
No. Well, when I was driving, I think I must have like gone over some sort of nail or bottle or whatever. And then I heard it like in my tire, like it was like, and I was like, that's not good. And I was like, maybe it'll stop doing that. And so I kept going, and then it went, poof, and I was like, oh no. But I was right around the corner from the gas station. So,
which luckily wasn't on like the freeway or something.
Yeah. That would have sucked.
Yeah. I do love a new tire smell. I talked about it with the guy. I was sniffing tires this morning.
Yeah. Sam was like, I don't know. You were weird in the tire shop.
I was weird in the tire shop.
It's funny.
I was like, do you ever smell the tires? And he's like, I've lost the scent of tires. I smell them all day. I don't know what a tire smells like anymore.
All right, let's get into it. My mom just got surgery and she's upset that I was complaining about my pain. For context, my mom and I didn't have a good relationship when I was younger due to some personal reasons on her part. One being her pain. When she is in pain, she is snappy and irritated, which is perfectly understandable. However, it was tough to get along with her. Once I became an adult, we got along pretty well, even though we have different views in life. By the way, this comes from, say it one more time.
It comes from, I just quit out of the vein.
Mothcat.
Mothcat 216.
Yes. So if you're here Make yourself known. Anyway, to the story. My first job was a small family business full of drama and favoritism and the food safety. It was a mess. But in my 3 years of working there, I felt no back pain. Fast forward to when I got my first car. I realized they weren't going to pay me what I was worth, and they didn't care if they went on vacation, stranding their employees for 2 weeks with no income. So I said enough was enough. I looked for a new job, and I was hired by a big company. Oh, you know, big company.
Oh, we love big company.
I like
niche industry.
I like working at big company. The employees are amazing, and they pay me enough to manage pay for my car insurance, car payment, and help my parents with groceries. While working the first 6 months, I felt no pain in my back. In fact, I felt great.
Good. I'm glad that you felt no pain in your back.
The thing is, though, you keep emphasizing that you felt no pain in your back. And so now I'm thinking that you're gonna feel pain in your back.
Gonna blow your back out.
Oh, maybe not that.
Why would that? I feel like that's what we're saying could happen.
Anyway, since my job is physically demanding, I have gotten fit and lost 25 pounds. Look at you go.
Let's
Pete.
go. Looking good.
I was feeling great in my body for the most part until I was supposed to close one night, and all of a sudden I felt the need to pop my back. I go to pop it. Nothing happens.
Blow your back in.
My mind tells me there's something wrong. Through the next hour of lifting and pulling, my back begins to hurt more and more. It got so bad I was holding back tears. Oh no. I asked my boss if I could leave early, and he said sure. The next morning I wake up and ask my mom if she can put something on my back to help me. She agreed, and when she lifted my shirt, she called for my dad, and he silently confirmed he saw a curvature. Oh my God.
Does that mean scoliosis?
I don't think so. I think it's something, I think in this instance, it's like something how they tweaked their back.
Oh.
So, that's what it's, that's
You know
what
what
I'm
they
reading.
need? You know that one scene in The Incredibles where he's fighting the robot?
Oh, and it stretches him,
It's
and he
like,
goes, and then he's super fit. Yeah, he's super fit.
and then he's like, oh yeah. And then,
Yeah.
then he fights the robot and gets
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's what you need, OP.
That's what you need. You need a giant robot,
Giant
to
robot.
try to tear you apart.
I went to the doctor the next day with my mom and got x-rays done. They confirmed I had 2 curvatures in my lower back. I was devastated and I became depressed. I felt my life plans were ruined. I could no longer enjoy roller coasters. I couldn't bring myself to have children anymore. I was already scared of giving them all of my mental illnesses. And now this. I was scared that nothing would work. I know how hard it is to get medicine for this, and I was scared of having to turn to drastic measures. Everything was going through my mind, but thankfully, my best friend was there for me to calm down. Because my mom's surgery, I need to bring in more money, which means more hours. I need to bring home enough money to support myself, my parents, and Minor. This would cause me to have a flare-up every week. Ugh. And it seems like OP has somewhat of a physical job.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, yeah.
Which means she probably can't move her job, but like maybe what she can do is get like some
Workers'
benefits.
comp?
Yeah.
Well, if it happened at your job, I feel like you could definitely get workers' comp.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, if it happened at work. After my mom came home from the hospital, I messaged her about my back and how it hurt. My mom's response was, honey, you have a long time before it hurts so bad that you're crying every day.
See that? Like we shouldn't want to get to that point. I feel like that person's like, you have it easy. Not until you're literally in tears every moment, every day should you really get that fixed.
Yeah, she's like, it doesn't even mean anything until it's there.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. I hate that argument. Only until you're suffering as much as me shall you take care of this.
Yeah, it's like, oh, like my dog passed away. I'm sad, and they're like,
Well,
well,
it's like my grandma
did
passed
you
away.
lose everyone?
Yeah.
Like it's not.
You know there are other dogs.
Yeah,
Did all the dogs disappear? Then stop crying.
it's not a freaking competition,
Well, it is. It's the
and
Pain
you're
Olympics.
losing. I just told her to forget about it, and that made her upset. The whole interaction made me want to break down right there in front of everyone and cry. I know this may look like a cry for attention or sympathy, it's not. I just need to know if I'm in the wrong here. A lot of people on one of the lives said not the a-hole, but now that the rest of the information is here, I need to know, am I the a-hole? And there's 2 relevant comments to finish this story off. Seathel's Mercy says, not the a-hole, your pain is valid. I also endure chronic pain and work a physically demanding job. Wouldn't trade it for the world, but some days are harder than others. Your pain is due to an actual physical and visible condition that your mother saw with her own eyes. I think it sucks that you have to support your family instead of living your life freely. What's stopping you from moving out? Familial obligation? And OP responds, money, honestly. I don't have the funds to afford my own place. My goal right now is to pay off my car loan so I can take out a bigger loan and buy my own place where me and my friend will room together. Definitely not the a-hole.
No, not the a-hole at all.
Yeah. No.
Sucks that you're going through all of this, though.
Yeah.
And this is part of the OK fam.
Yeah. I think it's kind of ridiculous that you're supporting your family and specifically, like, you know, your mom, and she's not supporting you and your pain.
Yeah.
I think OP said they were working to pay for the mom's surgery.
Yeah, like OP is trying their best to help in any way. And if anyone should understand about like the pain and health issues, I feel like it would be the mom.
I would hope that you could bond. I mean, it's kind of a sucky thing to bond over, but
where's your empathy?
Come on. Mindful Worm Peasant says, I have chronic nerve pain. I stopped talking about it because I was sick of being told I'm too young to feel real pain.
Dang.
Whenever people say, "Oh, wait until you're my age," that's when you'll feel
I don't
pain.
want to get to that age.
No, like I had chronic, well, maybe not chronic, but for like 2 years I had really bad hand pain.
You couldn't write.
And they were like, "Oh, you're fine." I was like, "No,
get over it. Just cut off your hands.
just get new hands."
Yeah, when you have hands as old as mine, then you can complain.
But your hands are so young and spry.
I remember when I had all my fingers. At least you have all your fingers.
What's the lore on this guy?
He's an old captain that has been beating whales for generations, and then one day
the whales fought back.
Took his fingers
with their flippers,
and then he got a taste for human flesh, and now he's been after my blood ever since.
And that's the story of Moby Dick.
No, it's the story of me.
Kimberly finds this honestly not even just the lack of support, just don't add to OP's circumstance at the bare minimum. Yeah.
It's the bare minimum. The simple bare minimum.
BB Mean says, that's horrible. OP is turning to her mom like any child would. When you're turning to your mom, you're looking for compassion, sympathy, and comfort from the person you're supposed to be guaranteed them. Mm-hmm. Yes, but that is the end of the story. My parents want me to get a job. This is OKOP, home to the craziest true stories on earth. I'm Sophia, and Riley, are you getting a job?
You know, I've really been considering it lately. I mean, look at them.
I think they could be a little bit bigger.
Yeah, they're mosquito bites.
So Deleted says, so throwaway, yeah? As the title says, I'm 21 years old, 22 next month, if it matters. My family is Hispanic, and there's a very casual view of things like plastic surgery in Latin America, with the outlook being something of the, if you can afford it, why not variety, at least from what I've experienced. We currently live in the US, and I've done so since I was about 6. Not one adult woman in my family has gone without some sort of improvement. Something, I love the in it. Something which, although I can support for them, find a completely a no-go for me due to fears of surgeries in general. I have really terrible anxiety and have been known to work myself into full panic attacks before dental procedures. I can't honestly imagine going under any kind of knife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Panic attacks are not fun.
Those
Have you ever had
fun.
a panic attack?
I can never remember the difference. I've either had a panic attack or an anxiety attack. I think I've had an anxiety attack.
I've had
They're
one
slightly
anxiety
different.
attack.
Yeah. Anxiety attacks are like, you're like, what's going, I don't know how to explain the difference. I think panic attacks are much more like you're freaking out, or anxiety attacks, it's like long form and your like body is going into fight or flight and you're like, am I ill? And then you realize that you're just extremely anxious.
Huh.
I probably didn't
Let
explain
us know
that
the
well.
difference.
Yeah. Because I think I've had anxiety attacks. I can't speak on panic attacks though.
Gotcha.
I'm actually quite happy with my body. Definitely not in shape. Yeah, but I'm working on it and I like the challenge. I'm a 36B. Basically, my whole adult life, my parents have hinted at me getting some form of breast enhancement done since I was 18, and it became clear that my chest wasn't going to go any farther out, essentially. That's also not like that small. It's like an average size.
I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, so why are you looking it up?
36B.
You don't have to look it up.
Oh, what? Dude, totally fine. What are you talking about?
Riley.
You're fine.
Okay, let's get back to the story and stop looking at women.
Yeah, parents are insane.
No, they are. No, that's crazy. That's really weird to like encourage your daughter to change her appearance.
Yeah.
No. Like if you want that for yourself,
go for it.
You know,
see Miami
that's
doctor.
That's your own personal thing. But like a parent should never be advocating for, that's weird. Also, it's weird that the dad is saying this. First, it started with my mom, who got a breast lift and a tummy tuck the summer after I graduated high school. She commented constantly on how happy she was with her new shape, but how she should have sprung some to have the butt raised too. How well she was doing in recovery. When we would go clothes shopping together, she'd walk over to the bra racks, pick out bras she knew I would like, and then show them to me and say 38C and say I should buy them in that size instead, since it wouldn't be too long before you need them in that size. Weird. I stopped shopping for clothes with my mom around. Comments kept coming in from other sources though, and my cousin's recent surgery a month and a half ago, she's now a 40 double D, or will be after the swelling goes down more, has not made it any easier to avoid them.
What, the double D or the cousin?
I think the comments. My dad isn't too fazed by the whole thing, doesn't comment on his own, but he actually agrees with my mom when the subject comes up during dinner, saying it will make me more attractive. That's so weird. Why is your dad saying that? That's so weird. Making it easier to find flattering clothes. I don't think I need this. I like my tiny boobs. My Christmas gift this year from my mom was a voucher promising to pay for the surgery and all associated costs, new bras, clothes. It was crazy. I joked that I would rather have that money as savings or into a new car deposit, useful things, not boobs.
Whoa. So for Christmas, we're getting you new boobs, plus some clothes. Hope you're okay with that.
That is so that's wild.
That is wild.
Again, like the mom shouldn't be saying this, but the dad definitely shouldn't be saying this. Like,
Agreed.
why are you telling your daughter that she needs to be more attractive? Yikes.
Plus, it's not tiny. I wouldn't say that's tiny.
They're not tiny.
They're not.
They're really not. Like that is an average size. I don't like
I would be like, great.
Also, okay. Also, even if they were, your parents shouldn't be commenting on that anyway.
Yeah, your boob's your life.
Literally. Okay. It became such a point of pressure between my parents and I that there's not one evening when that comes up that doesn't end in all of us in separate corners of the house fuming. I just don't know how to shut this down effectively, and I still have about a year of living with them before I'm financially stable enough to move out. We live in a high COL area.
COL acronym. Let us see.
Cost of living.
Haha. Wow.
I just had to sit with it for a second.
Colonial.
That's not right. Incorrect. Relevant comments. Callisti Gold says, sit them down and tell them that the topic of altering your body via cosmetic surgery is not up for discussion, and they are to stop immediately. The next time they bring it up, gently remind them. If they don't drop it, leave the room. Continue doing this until they stop or you move out. Opie says, you and Many-Toed Sloth really got it. I just don't want to continue the conversation. I did think when I told my mom I wouldn't shop with her again if she brought up new sizes and then followed through with that threat would have been a wake-up call, but now I know I really need to have a serious talk with them again. Sigh, here we go, adulting. Malarka says, useful thing to the comment, useful things, not boobs. I actually snorted at this. Your parents pushing for you to get bigger boobs sounds a bit ridiculous, if I'm honest. In any case, this is a boundary issue that you must discuss with them. Explain that you are happy with your body and that they should be happy that you're happy. Hopefully they'll listen. By the way, I have a B cup as well, and aren't they great? Haha, good luck with all this. Opie says, my boyfriend loves my B cups. Isn't that funny how tiny boobs make me unattractive, yet there he is being the best he can be about my crazy family. Must be blind. Yeah, I'm noticing it's also to do with how we spend money. I'm very pragmatic, I guess. Money is a tool. To my parents, money is more of an accessory. I most likely will have to talk to them soon. And there is an update.
Yeah, this is a very interesting scenario. I did not
weird
know this
family
about
dynamic.
the Hispanic
I don't think it's like
culture,
a net.
or
I don't know if we can
if
generalize.
it's generalized about just her family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know, and I don't want to I don't want to make general
Well, she said
remarks. But
my
for this
family
family,
is Hispanic, and there's a very casual view of things like plastic surgery in Latin America. Okay, so it's like casual view. It's like,
so according to
it's
her,
not
it's
encouraged.
yeah.
It's just sort of like, oh, you go, girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Maybe
Gotcha.
more,
Gotcha.
yeah. But no, this is, yeah, I think it's again, totally fine if you want to do it, but like, do not tell other people that, especially not your daughter.
Wow, I feel like I might get canceled here as a man, but I'm just gonna go for it. Would you say that her family has more of a materialistic worldview?
I don't think you're going to be canceled. I would agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I would absolutely say that they're very superficial if they're telling their own daughter to do this.
Yeah.
Like to make her more attractive. That feels very superficial.
Yeah,
to me.
and I think like to an extent you would be considered more attractive, but like to what type of men? And do you want to be in relations with those type of men that would see you as more attractive?
Yeah, attractiveness is very like person to person.
Very person to person.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you do that, you will attract men that are more materialistic and will have a more materialistic lifestyle. While you just said here with your money, it's more of a tool, while your parents look at it as an accessory.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. No, it seems like they want a daughter as an accessory. They're like, oh, we want her to be pretty in the way that we think is pretty and not like who she is as a person.
Yikes.
There is an update. Well, once I had cooled down a bit, the first post was written literally about 30 to 40 minutes after I had one of those discussions with my mom regarding the state of the chest. I gave everything some thought and hit the gym. Ha! It was my weigh-in day after 4 months of really intense work, and I'm glad to start seeing noticeable, unignorable results. I came home, went to bed, and then didn't see my parents until Monday night dinner. That being said, I was not at all expecting the amount of responses I got, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of them. You guys are really the best. Even the joke comments were able to keep me laughing. So on to the meat and potatoes. I finally had to sit down with my mom and dad on Monday and ask them to explain to me why they thought I needed any kind of surgery. What came through after much prodding and defensiveness was actually what I think maybe only one or two of the last post commenters might have seen coming. Turns out my parents hate that I'm not dating a man of my own country/culture. They feel I'm dating down or settling with my current boyfriend, and they think I'm just not attractive to men of my race/culture due to my comparatively but not objectively small chest. Somehow in their minds they thought I would be much more willing to dump my boyfriend once a ton of hot tan Latino guys came running at my doors. I honestly could not believe the shit they were spewing. I felt sick. Like I knew they weren't thrilled with my choice in boyfriend, but after 2 years, I'd hope they had gotten over that. It was insane. I told them under no uncertain terms that if they so much as mentioned my tits or my boyfriend in a derogatory manner again, I was cutting them off from my life entirely. More yelling and cursing than needed in the summary were included, but trust me, I pretty much let them have it. Today, I requested more hours at my current job, and while not tied into my actual college major, I only work part-time while interning at something that was in my degree field, but now that internships ended and I will go on to find a full-time, to full-time at my current company. The work is lucrative enough that within the next month or so, I should be able to move out of my parents' home. Gonna miss the cats. But now I get to try and find a studio or something similar so I can move. Wasn't planning on doing it till October, but March will do. And there are some relevant comments to wrap us up.
Wow. So it's low-key.
It's just, I think it's just a weird thing to do. Just weird. Like they don't want her to date outside of her culture. And so they're willing to like make her
more appealing to the culture they want her to be a part of.
I just think like even this reason is, obviously it's a bad reason, but it also just doesn't excuse trying to change your daughter at all. Yeah, no, this is just weird. It just feels really weird to have your parents be like, you should change your appearance. Like that's like, I got that from you guys. You gave that to me.
Yeah. I don't like this. I don't like this with how the parents are thinking and approaching this. And the fact that they were like, you're dating down. Yeah. Saying things like that. Oh, yeah. Very.
I just dropped water on me.
Feels very materialistic.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But let's read these relevant comments. So Shelf Life Inc. says, somehow in their minds, they thought I would be much more willing to dump my boyfriend once a ton of hot tan Latino guys came running at my doors. Quote, or the end of quote. I'm sorry, I giggled a little at this. What planet are your parents on? Rather than talk to you about their concerns, however misguided, sweetie, we think you'd be happier with a man from your own culture, which is what I was like, obviously misguided, but like, why was their first idea that? They thought that pressuring you into extreme elective surgery would somehow change the course of your life. If only it were that simple. Good on you for standing strong. Totally agree, Shelf Life. Yeah. T-shirt Addict says, plus, what kind of boyfriend/lover would that be? Yeah, quote, yeah, you were okay before, but now you got tits. Orale? What does that mean?
Oral E.
No, I feel like it's probably Spanish. Orale. Orale. Oral?
Oral E.
No. It is orale, but it's okay. It's a common interjection in Spanish slang. The term has varying connotations, including an affirmation that something is impressive, an agreement with a statement, or to signify distress. So it's probably like orale.
Oh, wait. I got you.
Orale. It's not orale. Anyway. No, I don't think it means that. I think it's just an interjection. Yeah, you were okay before, but now you got tits. Orale.
There we go. Yeah.
Which we just learned is a common interjection in Spanish. Anyway, Shelf Life Inc. continues. Shelf Life Inc. says, has another comment. And just imagine her parents plotting. What's wrong with her daughter? Why is she dating a gringo? Maybe because she likes him? Don't be stupid. It's obviously because she can't get any Dominican men. None of them will pay attention to her with a chest that small. Well, I guess that's their loss. She's a beautiful girl. But imagine how much more beautiful she'd be with a set of melons. Once they're clamoring after her and her knockers, she'll forget all about her gringo and be dating the shallow men she deserves. Come on, let's force her to change for a hypothetical boyfriend. It's the only way she'll be happy. Yeah. Yikes.
Ew.
L parents.
L parents.
Very strange.
Not good.
I don't like it. I don't like it. You know, I do like it.
Don't get your breasts done.
Yeah. Don't alter yourself based off other people's desires. If you want to do that, that is your own decision, but don't let other people push you into something that you don't want. Yeah, and I'm glad that you still know you stood your ground.
I feel like long term, it's going to be very interesting of how her family interacts with her because she's choosing a different lifestyle than they are.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder what Christmas looks like. Can we get an update of how your last Christmas was?
Just tell why Christmas?
Because that's where families gather.
Oh, okay. Just a next family gathering. Gotcha.
Yeah.
But you know what I want an update on?
What's that?
This next story.
Oh.
Woo.
My stepmom attacked our kid. What she did next was unforgivable. I mean, I think we're already in the unforgivable territory. Like,
what more could she do?
there is only one way to find out, producer Riley.
Okay. What is that way?
This story. My 28 male, stepmother 49 female, is a wannabe party planner. She has taken it upon herself to plan and host every party and holiday my dad's family has thrown since she married him. I never loved those occasions growing up. She's controlling and gets upset if people complain about anything, but I humored her for my dad's sake. According to him, this helps her feel included.
You know who this sounds like?
Who?
Angela off The Office.
Ooh, interesting theory.
Yeah, like the wannabe party planner, always complaining. Come on.
Everyone in the comments, put Angela if you think that Riley's right, because that might be your best theory take ever, Riley. I'm getting married to my fiance, Jane, 26 female, in July. We got engaged in early 2021, but Jane ended up getting pregnant a couple of months after that with your baby. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, it could be. The stories we read, we don't know. And we decided to postpone the wedding to focus on our son for a while. So we've had a long engagement. My stepmother has tried to hijack our wedding plans from day one, complaining, contacting our planner, showing up unannounced at Jane's dress appointments, etc. And we have repeatedly asked her to stop. Dad wants to humor her, but she's clearly resentful of the fact that she's not hosting the wedding or being labeled mother of the groom in invitations. What do we think about that? What do we think? That's maybe a little harsh.
I mean, if you think about it, she rose her son. Like, she had to see him grow up. She needs to be more involved in this wedding. Like, it's her day too.
Wait, are you serious?
She's trying to plan it. She's trying to get them, like, they're postponing it. I mean, because they had a kid. Like, she wants this thing to be about her. That's what it's
Yeah, the
looking like.
stepmom.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I thought you were saying that the stepmom was in the right. Like, yeah, just give it all to her. What is Opie doing? I was like, Riley. Besides our baby boy, we also have Luke, 4 male, Jane's paternal half-brother. She got custody of him a few months into our relationship after his parents passed away. Oh, that is awful. I ended up moving in with them during the pandemic and have been in Luke's life since he was a baby. He doesn't call me dad and refers to us as his sister and OP, but we love him like a son. Stepmother, though, hates Luke. She accuses Jane of baby trapping her way into the family. And that accusation only got worse after our son was born. That's not baby trap. Like, literally, that's her brother, and the parents passed away.
What else is she supposed to do? Like, put him in the orphanage? Like,
right? Like, oh, sorry, Luke. My future mother-in-law doesn't like you so much, so we're just gonna put you with Annie, orphan Annie over there. Like, my dad gets along with Jane and adores the kids, but stepmother demands him to refuse babysitting Luke so we don't have the kids with them often. Okay, stepmom is like, if it wasn't already clear, she's a piece of work.
She's just trying to make the next Batman. That's really what it is. She's like, if I'm mean enough to him, he'll become a superhero.
Doing this for you.
He'll be a billionaire.
Generational wealth and a superhero to save the world. I mean,
That's what Gotham needs.
his stepmom, what Gotham needs. Instead, Jane's brother and sister-in-law usually watch the kids for us as their children are close to ours in age. We had a thing last Sunday and my brother-in-law was out of town with his family. Jane's other siblings live in different cities as well as my mom and sister. My dad agreed to babysit at our place and we left. We came back to find both kids crying, stepmother screaming, and dad weakly trying to calm everyone down. Oh my God. Apparently, Luke had told stepmother that both he and our son were going to be our ring bearers at the wedding, and she went ballistic. She screamed that she wasn't going to allow that because he wasn't family. Oh!
What?
The audacity! Still think she's making Batman over there, Riley. Riley's like, it's for a just cause. Let her cook. She then made me need to include the trigger warning when he stopped crying. His lip is still split open. She'd never gotten to this point before. We immediately banned her from our house and from our wedding. Dad is fuming and has said that he's not going to go without her to the wedding. He also convinced half of his side of the family by severely downplaying what stepmother did to boycott the wedding as well. This includes my stepbrother, who fully agrees with his mother no matter how many times I try to tell him the truth. Me and Jane are refusing to budge, but many of my cousins who aren't coming anymore are asking us to reconsider. Pretty much all of Jane's family agrees with us, but one of her aunts has suggested that maybe stepmother is acting out because she doesn't feel welcomed by my family.
It's like she's putting all that weight of, oh, I don't feel like I'm in the family on the kid. Like, that's what it feels like. She's like pushing it on him as.
If I can't be in the family, you can't be in the family. I've honestly had it with my family enabling her behavior. I love my dad and really want him at my wedding, but I am more than willing to go no contact if it means protecting my family. Edit. I think I accidentally deleted the paragraph where I mentioned this, but we did press charges. Wow. Okay, this is getting very serious. We took Luke to the pediatrician the next day and gathered every piece of evidence we had. Not only did we have pictures of Luke's face, but by some miraculous strike of luck, we also had nanny cam footage. Some commenters were right to assume that my stepmom hadn't been invited to our house, but my dad hasn't really gone anywhere without her in years, so we took precautions. We didn't expect her to actually do anything this awful, but we've never trusted her with the kids. The physical attack happened off camera, but there is some footage of her screaming and Luke crying before and after the event. She now has a child abuse charge on her rap sheet. We wouldn't let her get away with this.
Oh my gosh.
Edit number 2. There's a lot of additional info that I want to add. I'll try to respond to at least some of the comments. I did not expect to get the amount I've had so far, but all I'll add for now is that Luke is okay. The visit to the pediatrician happened the day after. He already had a counselor. Jane was pretty traumatized when her dad and stepmom passed away and was worried that it might rub off on him, and will continue treatment. We've been hugging and pampering him a little more than usual too. He's still upset, but is already doing much better.
Dang.
Oh God, just a terrible situation. Okay, so Riley, we have big part 2.
It sounds like that side of the family is just a bunch of party poopers, and you wouldn't want them there anyways. Like, as that guy, you would want that kind of support from your dad and your stepmom, like anyone that was a part of your life, and not having your favorite cousins there too. That would really suck.
You know, it'd be really funny is if OP gave the stepmom like a negative review on Yelp for like wedding and party planning. Literally just pastes this story in Yelp. Never planning another party again, that's for sure.
1 star. Dude, that ruined her business, man. 1 star to a new business. It sounds like she is a wannabe, so
it's over before it started. But Riley, I got a big part 2 for you. Are you ready?
Oh, please give it to me.
I will start off by probably disappointing a lot of people. We've come to terms with the fact that it's unlikely stepmom will get anything more than a slap on the wrist. That sucks. That she definitely deserves more than that. Me and Jane are discussing our next move with our lawyer, but we're still not sure how we're going to move forward. It's too early to tell anyways, so we're trying not to get ahead of ourselves any more than we already have. However, I'm relieved to announce that we're going to start the process for a restraining order against stepmom. We're using the same evidence we gathered the week following the incident, including the nanny cam footage and pictures of Luke, and we'll focus on that for the time being. I still haven't spoken to my father. My sister is still in low contact with my dad, but is seriously considering cutting ties with him. Because my sister is the only one on my side that talks to him, my father keeps trying to ask her about me and whether I've calmed down yet. How can the dad not see all of this?
I think he's asking the wrong person who's calmed down.
Exactly. According to her, he's annoyed that half of his family refuses to talk to him, but still doesn't seem to accept why. Because your wife is an evil bee. Bro, it's really so simple. 1 + 1 = 2. Your wife plus she is a monster equals she is a monster. That is the math equation for you, sir.
Just do the math, man.
I told my sister that she doesn't need to keep playing messenger pigeon between me and our father. I never asked her to do it, and it's clearly taking a toll on her, but she insists that she'll stop when it quote unquote feels right. By the way, there's absolutely no doubt whether stepmom attacked Luke. Not only did Luke say it the moment we got home, but that was also confirmed by my father in a failed attempt to defend his behavior. He was there to see the whole thing.
Yeah, he was like low-key trying to calm it down, but he wasn't doing a good job. If he's doing all this work, like he's got to be getting something in return. Like I would be putting up a fight like this if it wasn't that great.
Riley, give yourself the sign right now. There it is. He never tried to hide it from us. That and the fact that he gave Luke an ice bag is literally the only positive thing that I can say about his actions. And stepmother was too busy screaming about how much of a whining brat Luke was being to deny it. To those who guess that stepmom is younger than my dad, you get an invisible cookie. She's also 5 years younger than his previous girlfriend. Okay, here we go. This is the context on their past relationship. They got together when I was around 15. Also, stepbrother is only a month older than me. She turns 50 this year, had him at 21, and married his father a year later. Both our kids are doing mostly okay. Luke's back to running around the house in his Superman costume whenever he doesn't have anything better to do. Love that. He did have a few nightmares this past week and asked to sleep in our bed twice. We don't mention my father around him, and he's still seeing his counselor. Our 14-month son has learned 2 new words, hi and bye. And Luke is trying to teach him to say his name. That is so adorable.
That is cute.
We needed a little bit of adorableness in this story. Jane's sister, who moved away for college, is coming over for a couple of days to celebrate her 21st birthday later this month. Luke is excited to see her, and Jane's excited to get drunk with her sister. Can't say I blame her. Honestly, Jane deserves it. Jane freaking deserves a little celebration.
Not out with the gals.
We're hoping her presence will cheer us all up. I'm not doing so good, and neither is Jane. She's usually the kind of person who tries to keep her negative emotions to herself, but she cried herself to sleep almost every night the week that it happened. It breaks my heart to see her like this, and I can't help but feel like this is my fault. There's a part of me trying to tell me I had no way of knowing the stepmother would do anything like that, but that doesn't really change anything. I allowed my stepfather near my kids unsupervised, even though I knew she'd probably tag along. This is the guiltiest I've ever felt, and I don't think I'll ever forgive myself. It's such an emotional thing to be going through, and I'm sure that's these feelings of guilt are stemming from it.
It's like, what could I have done differently to not let this happen.
Yeah, which is like, that's not on him, ultimately. Jane has been improving lately and is trying to convince me to see a therapist. I've never really done that before, apart from a psychiatrist when I was younger, but now feels like a good time to give it a try. I was surprised by a few messages this week from people telling me to forgive my father and stepmother, as well as reinvite them to the wedding. That's not happening. In fact, I'm not willing to ever forgive the stepmother. My dad has now degraded to a huge maybe, but I will never understand or forget what she did. Also, though the wedding is the last thing on our minds right now, we're not postponing it. We considered rescheduling, but the date we'd settled on is pretty much the only one that works for our guests. We have passwords with all the vendors and gave them all clear instructions not to talk to anyone but us. Jane's family is bigger and closer to each other, which is why they're more involved in the wedding than mine, but I do have family participating. My sister is one of the bridesmaids, 2 of my cousins are groomsmen, and my mom is walking down the aisle with the wedding party. God, like, I don't know, just such a insane, I think it's probably a smart move to continue the wedding, but it just sucks so much of like what the stepmother's done and like how that's like ruined the wedding and like,
Yeah. My thing is though, I'm glad his mom's like involved. Like, since like his mom's kind of in the picture, it looks like, why does the stepmother want her on like to be included? I don't understand that part.
Right. That is so true, because maybe his mom is listed. He should have mentioned that, by the way, in the story, but maybe his mom is listed as his mom of the groom on the invitation. That only makes exact perfect sense. Going through with all of this, Jane has made me understand even more just how much I love this woman. I couldn't ask for a better partner to start a family with, and I have no idea what I would do without her. This didn't tear us apart, and I couldn't be more thankful. I probably won't make any more updates until after the wedding, unless something big happens. In the meantime, as always, best wishes to all of you. Okay, Riley, we've reached end of part 2 here. We still have the wedding ahead of us. Mm-hmm. The family is completely split. The stepmother literally has a restraining order. So her attending the wedding is literally against the law now. Oh, how are we feeling?
I think they could turn this around. If stepmother comes up and she's like, you know what? I was in the wrong. Everybody comes together, hold hands, and it's just this great wedding. I think that could happen. There's a possibility.
Think it's small. I like your ever optimistic, rosy tinted view of the world, Riley, but I think I might be here to completely shatter all of your rose-colored visions of the world and happiness. I hate it. I hate to say it, but we have part 3.
Uh-oh. Will it get worse?
Riley, don't ask questions you already know the answer to, okay, buddy? Don't do that. I didn't plan on updating again before the wedding, but something pretty huge happened. The good news is that we did get the restraining order. The bad news is that me and Jane both had to see stepmother and my father at the court hearing. This was our first time seeing them since we kicked them out of our house over a month ago, and neither of us were looking forward to it. We left the kids with Jane's brother and sister-in-law, so at least Luke didn't have to see them. The hearing itself went a lot quicker than I expected. I'll give credit where it's due. My father was, at the very least, smart enough to understand there was really no way that they were winning this. There was a lot of evidence against him. So maybe he's siding with the evil stepmom, but he's not a complete idiot. I don't know.
He's saying he was being goofy. He was being goofy.
Maybe that's a big goof. Not only did we have the nanny cam footage and Luke's pictures and medical record, but my sister had also gathered every text and email that stepmother had sent and the family about what happened.
The receipts.
And stepmother hates speaking on the phone, so there were a lot of those. They didn't even bother to get an attorney for the hearing. I have to admit, the moment we left the courthouse was the safest I'd felt since this whole ordeal started. Jane was close to tearing up with joy when we got to the car. We picked up the kids and went to McDonald's with brother-in-law and his family to celebrate. So, the celebratory McDonald's run, you might as well like have given each kid like $10,000 as an adult. Like that is the equivalent of, dude, I don't know what it is about those. Like
I'd get them all the time right after like a doctor's visit or something like that. Like, I am not looking forward to this. And then it's just like a victory lap. You're like,
dude,
we did it.
Hours later, my father called me. The restraining order doesn't extend to him, so he can still do that. Jane and the kids were in bed, so I answered it. I didn't expect him to change his mind and apologize all of a sudden, but decided to give him one last chance. Big Riley, Big Protein with the big predictions. Riley's nickname is Big Protein, by the way. Comment, Brig. I want to see 300 comments that say Big Protein.
Dude, my ego will just skyrocket.
Yes, skyrocket.
Oh,
he tried to start some awkward small talk, but I told him to get to the point. He asked me if the order was truly necessary. I stated very clearly that stepmother was never coming near Jane or my children again, and that I was glad I had a restraining order to formalize that. Every excuse he had for stepmother was pretty easy to shut down, but she only hit him once. Wow. Okay. Hold on. Wow. Dad. Yup. That's enough for me. The kids need their grandma. She's not their grandma. Mom is. She's my wife. You need to respect her. She attacked Luke. She disrespected my family in my own house. I don't owe her anything, least of all my respect. Then he went on a rant about family, how much of a godsend stepmother was, and everything she'd done for me and my sister since she came into our lives. I replied by listing every time I could remember about her lying, overstepping a boundary, or acting unhinged around me, my family, or my sister. I brought up both my adult life and youth. Examples included her attempts to hijack most of our milestones, recently our wedding plans, our son's birth, Jane's baby shower, and my sister's graduation. Oh, she's evil. She's an evil stepmother. This is a Disney plotline. And the obsession with an idea of the perfect family and her disgusting attitude towards Luke. I also made sure to mention her habits of going through mine and my sister's stuff when we were younger. It's trivial compared to everything else, but this behavior went on until my sister moved out of their house only 3 months ago. We're pretty sure she found out Jane's wedding dress appointments by reading my sister's private planner, while she wasn't home, for example. Some of the memories I mentioned are long and hard to explain, but they did cement the fact that stepmother means nothing to me. He tried to go on the whole she doesn't feel included excuse again, but I shut him up. I said he'd had the opportunity to protect his grandchildren, but had chosen his monster of a wife instead. And that's enough for me to want nothing to do with him. I hung up without saying goodbye.
Okay, maybe he doesn't realize the goof up he's made.
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, I feel like what's happening here, and I'm very curious for anyone in the comments, maybe that's been through a similar situation. I feel like what's happening here is that the dad, still wants the son in his life, but is not willing at all to compromise, and not even compromise, but really just see the reason when it comes to his wife.
And you don't lead with on the phone call, oh, she only hit him once. You don't lead with that.
It just shows you how his view is still completely wrong and in favor of the stepmom. My sister told me that he called her afterwards, and she told him she was going to go no contact with him as well, losing both of his kids to this.
2 for 1.
God damn, that's a BOCO deal you don't want. Okay. I think we're both starting to accept our father won't change. It sucks, but he's made his priorities clear, and his children and grandkids aren't among them. For now, that's it. Now that they're fresh in my mind, I'm thinking about sharing some of the stories I reminded my father of. That's going to take a while. Until then, as always, best wishes to all of you. God. Okay. Part 4. I mentioned in my last post, I was thinking of sharing some stories from before I finally got the restraining order against my lovely stepmother and went no contact with my father. Though there were plenty worth writing about, I'll start with one of my sister's favorites. All of the names here are fake. My fiance Jane found out she was pregnant in June of 2021, and we announced it to our immediate families in August. At first, stepmother was completely uninterested in our baby. Not that I expected much from the woman whose reaction to our pregnancy announcement was to ask Jane if she was sure it was mine. God! Even my dad berated her for that one, but she barely seemed to acknowledge the fact that we were expecting. Instead, she was more interested in my stepbrother, who was also engaged and would give her beautiful grandbabies soon. No complaints, we didn't want her involved, and we didn't even have to say anything. Planning our baby showers was complicated. Both me and Jane would have to work until the holidays, and I wanted to be involved. The due date was in February 2022, so we decided early January as the best period of time. We had enlisted 2 people as planners, my sister Laura and Jane's best friend Nina. Me and Jane are mostly laid-back people. We didn't want a big party, nor did we want to spend too much money on it. We were saving for both our baby and the wedding. We decided early on that the shower would be co-ed. It would also have to be indoors, again January, and we settled on a guest list of around 25 people plus a dozen kids. We came up with the idea of a pizza party. Me, Jane, Luke have had homemade pizza nights weekly since I moved in, and we thought it would be fun to incorporate that into the shower. Nina found an event venue with a pizza oven, and Laura figured out ways to incorporate classic baby shower stuff into the theme. Like bun in the oven, maybe? That could work.
Yeah,
Right?
classic. That's good.
Hey. The resulting plans were awesome. Make your own pizzas, non-alcoholic drinks, and plain bodysuits for the kids to customize. Plain bodysuits? That's
Like color on them? What?
I guess that's interesting. Nina and Laura mixed pizza decor with baby decor and found pizza-shaped sweets as well. It almost seemed messy, and I was surprised that they made it work, but we loved it. Most of the planning was finished by the middle of November. Well, later that month, my stepmother's fiance left him for her ex. They'd been together for 4 years at that point, and it was both sudden and traumatizing for him. He was devastated. When you're the devil's offspring, you know, people might not want to believe you. Stepmother then realized the grandkids she dreamed of would take longer to come than she thought. So naturally, without her son's milestones to obsess over, she moved on to mine. Suddenly, stepmother went from aloof relative to excited grandma-to-be. Facebook posts, tacky, promoted to Nana t-shirts, the whole 9 yards. At first, we were too busy finishing things up at work and getting ready for the holidays to worry about that, but it didn't take long for her to start pressuring us about planning the baby shower as well as the gender reveal. Oh, we know how this is gonna end.
Dude.
We denied the possibility of a gender reveal party. No offense to those who like him, but we don't. Plus, we had decided to wait until the birth to find out the sex. Stepmother tried to get us to find out and tell her as a Christmas present, but we didn't. We also denied her the baby shower planning. She told my father, and he also told my sister Laura, and got her into letting stepmom help out with the plans. She was still living with them at the time, so she didn't have much of a choice. She called Nina and they met stepmother for coffee. Though I wasn't there for that meeting, Laura told me what happened later. Before they could even mention their plans, stepmother started talking about hers. According to Laura, she pulled out a shockingly thick binder, complete with the words, "Okay baby" on the cover, colorful tabs, and pieces of fabric poking out from her bag, and skipped to the shower section. She has a whole binder.
She had one for her son, and then like, oh, that didn't work. So she just like slapped on the baby's name and was like, okay, here it is for them. That's where she got that from.
And with all of this, like, you know, she's so behind on it. Now she's like going full speed and trying to cram all of her book down everyone's throat. She's like, all right, I'm late to the game. Let's turn to page 476, section A, chapter B. Laura sent me pictures, and oh boy. I'll give her this. It looked like the most Instagrammable baby shower ever. That being said, it was also barely functional and obviously expensive. There were balloons, oversized teddy bears, giant alphabetic blocks, and cringeworthy signs everywhere. Stepmother was going for pretty over cozy, with uncomfortable chairs and some fancy food ideas that didn't look edible. Most of them had soft cheeses, which Jane cannot eat. Although in defense, like, can she eat pizza if she can't eat cheese? But
vegan cheese.
The color palette was 3 different shades of pink with gold accents. We'd be fine with a pink baby shower if she at least tried to mix things up a little, but stepmother's pictures also looked like Barbie had puked all over Hello Kitty's birthday party. My God. When Nina tried to remind her that we didn't know the sex yet, stepmother said that she just knew it was a girl. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Oh my God. Stepmother also wanted an all-female, child-free party with fancy caterers and alcohol. She had written down a guest selection list containing some of her closest friends. Neither mine nor Jane's own mothers were on her list. And she planned party games no one had any interest in trying out. Basically, the only thing every could agree on was the party was indoors. Laura and Nina weren't given an opportunity to show her plans until she was done. Once they could, they explained that while they could find a way to incorporate some of stepmother's ideas, they had already settled on the pizza theme. She tried to protest, but Laura stated that it was kind of them to even offer including some of her ideas, as the shower was a month away and we'd already greenlit all of their plans. Stepmother even called me to try to get them to change their minds, but I just repeated their words back. My dad had found out that he couldn't come to the shower, so he didn't even get a say in anything anymore. The holidays came around and the subject was dropped. Stepmother seemed to be okay with the pizza party. Nina managed to pair some of the pink decor she'd wanted with the matching blue stuff and even got one of those huge teddy bears. So they even did put some of her stuff in then.
Yeah,
it seems like it wasn't even like totally just, not any of stepmother's ideas.
No, but they said we can do a little bit.
Fast forward to a week before the shower. Jane was almost 8 months pregnant. Everything had been bought, all the guests had RSVP'd, and pretty much everything was ready to go. The shower was set to start at 7 p.m. Stepmother offered to get to the venue earlier to help prepare everything. I don't like this.
I don't either.
Laura agreed, mostly because she knew stepmother would complain if she didn't get to do anything, and the venue even let them drop off the decorations before the party. Me and Jane promised to get there at around 6. 2 days before the shower, however, the venue called Nina. They told her that stepmom had stopped by to drop off large, heavy boxes of what she called a little surprise for us. She'd informed them that she'd planned on showing up at 3:30 p.m. to start setting up. They were calling to reinforce that the venue was only booked past 4 p.m. since stepmother almost threw a tantrum when she was told that. All of the decor was still at Nina's place, so she called Laura to check if they'd left anything with the stepmom. Thankfully, my sister is both smart and used to this crap from stepmom, so she drove to the venue the next day and asked to see stepmother's boxes. She told me she wasn't even surprised at its contents when she opened them, but was still shocked at stepmother's audacity. All of the boxes were filled with pink frilly decorations. Some of them seemed to be the exact same items that stepmom had initially showed Laura and Nina. The signs, the balloons, the placemats, everything.
No.
Laura realized that's why stepmom intended to get to the venue earlier, to set up the baby shower she had planned and pretty much force all of us to party in Barbie hell with her. Dude! She called Nina to figure out what to do. Neither of them could come at 4 p.m., so it was almost inevitable for stepmom to get her way. Oh my God, this is like a Mission Impossible like baby shower. Like we have to hit the buzzer at 4 p.m. before the mom. We have to cut the pink wire before she can even get there. The most obvious solution they came up with was to throw everything away. Stepmom's not gonna like that. But Laura had a better idea. That night, they called me and Jane. Hey, want to destroy a party in 2 hours? Laura got home and invited stepmom to go to the salon with her, lying about having coupons. Stepmom agreed, and they planned on going right after stepmom was done preparing the baby shower. At 4 p.m. the next day, stepmom got to the venue. She was done setting things up by 5. I'll admit, the woman is fast. She's awful, but gosh darn it if she ain't good at being evil. And quickly left to meet Laura at the salon. Once they were together, Laura texted Nina, the coast was clear. At that, me, Jane, and Nina went to the venue, and sure enough, stepmom had prepared her party. To make this shorter, I won't describe it, but I will say it was so pink that it almost gave Jane nausea. For the next 2 hours, Laura distracted stepmother at the salon while the three of us quickly took to taking everything down that stepmother had put up and replaced it with all of the pizza party stuff. We set up the activities, made up the tables, and put every pink item we found back into stepmom's boxes. It was actually really fun. We were only done in minutes before the shower started.
Nice.
Bro, I am quaking in my seat to see the stepmom's reaction. This is gonna be bad. A handful of guests arrived before stepmother did, so I barely saw her all night. Laura told me that when she got there, stepmother's jaw dropped as she tried to make sense of what had happened to all of her pink decor. My sister just smiled and whispered, "Nice try."
Ooh.
And went to help Luke customize a bodysuit. Boom! Overall, the baby shower was everything we had hoped for. Our friends were there, people had fun, we had a ton of pizza, so I didn't really care that stepmother spent the whole party literally sulking in the corner. Nina did try to catch her trying to put little pink bows on top of the cupcakes, but she quickly shut that down. God, this woman has no off switch. I gave Laura and Nina full credit for saving the day. Stepmother's interest in our baby quickly died after that. She stopped wearing her Nana t-shirts, didn't come to see us at the hospital when she was born, and refused to even acknowledge that he was a boy until she met him weeks later. Up until we went no contact, she was a very loose definition of the word grandmother. I couldn't be more grateful my son will never know her. We have way more context into all of this stuff, but Riley, we have the finale.
Uh-oh, there's more?
The cherry on the cake.
Oh.
Part 5.
Give it to me.
After being engaged for over 2 years, me and Jane finally dumped each other. Just kidding, Riley. Did I get you?
Oh, not another one.
They finally got married last Saturday. We're still getting used to calling each other husband and wife, but we'll get there hopefully. A ray of sunshine in this freaking monstrous storm that they've been through.
They need something like that.
The wedding was awesome. The kids had fun. Our extended families finally met and we danced so much I could barely stand the next day. Kind of like Riley doing 400 squats in a row and then struggling to hold himself up while he's urinating in a toilet. True story. Luke took his ring bearer duties very seriously and held my son's hand as they walked down the aisle. Oh, the cuteness.
That is adorable.
Oh, dude, a tear started trying to make its way up there. Besides my aunt getting shit-faced and being let out on a wheelchair, which I already thought would happen anyways, everything went according to plan. There we go. Okay. We love to hear this. Love to hear this. It's been 4 months since we got the restraining order against stepmother. Things have been mostly quiet, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Except not completely quiet, but we can't always get what we want. I never really worried about stepmother showing up at the wedding, especially after the restraining order. That would be crazy.
That would be nuts.
Let me plan it.
Dude, I really thought like she would just like emerge at the after party, just with decorations ready. Like crazy-eyed.
Miss me. It's been literally illegal for her to come close to us. And we've made it very clear that if she tried, we would call the cops right away. My friends still warned me to take safety measures, most of which I did. Stepmother didn't show up, of course, but I'm a strong believer that any money spent on security is well spent. Wow, he had to hire security at his own wedding for his stepmom. God. So, no regrets in the end. My stepbrother and I wished each other happy birthdays, and he also texted Jane on hers back in June. That's the only contact we've had during these months. He knows that the door is still open if he wants to apologize. My dad has given up on trying to reach me. We haven't spoken since April. He's still trying to talk to my sister for some reason, but she's ignoring him. A few days after she went no contact with him, they had a huge fight over the phone about stepmother's treatment of us over the years. Insults were thrown, sore subjects were brought up, and most importantly, my father took stepmother's side on almost everything. My sister called me crying afterwards. I wanted to call him and yell at him, but she told me not to. She's doing okay now. She hasn't blocked him, but she doesn't take his calls or answer his texts. She's only gotten 3. A weak apology, one on my birthday back in May. A long rant after neither of us wished him a happy Father's Day. After all, despite our differences, he's our father. He's not wrong. I love my father and I always will, but I can't be around him anymore. While I've closed that door, I'm not locking it just yet. He knows what he needs to do if he wants his family back. I don't think he'll do it, but if there's the slightest chance he might, I'll consider opening that door an inch or two. This is my wife's suggestion. I'm a lot less optimistic than she is, but maybe it's important to hold on to that hope. She hasn't forgiven him though, or stepmother. Jane has always been very protective of Luke, so it was no surprise that this disaster shook her. Yeah, I'll say. A part of me was scared she'd blame me, but she called me a dumb when I told her that. Jane is a real one.
Yeah.
I've been in therapy for a few months, and it's helped a lot more than I would have thought. I've realized stepmother's behavior around me growing up was a lot worse than even I always thought, and it's great to finally be able to get my feelings off my chest. Right now, I'm more than happy. I just married the most amazing woman ever, and I have the family I always dreamed of. None of us are perfect, but I never thought life would be this great to me. I'll stick around. Reddit is a lot more than I expected, but I can sleep peacefully now. So it's safe to say this will be my last update on this. Thank you all for the kindness and the advice you gave me over these months. I could have never expected the support I got from you guys, and I can't begin to describe how helpful it all was. Seriously, thank you all. Quick edit, my stepbrother called earlier today. Apparently, he and stepmother had a fight and he wants to meet up. I agreed as long as it was just the two of us. We're meeting up for coffee on Wednesday. I have no idea what to expect, but even if he does apologize, I need to know he understands how and why he let us down. Edit number 2, I rescheduled the meetup. With me and Jane leaving for our honeymoon on Friday, I decided that no matter the outcome of the conversation with my stepbrother, I didn't want to spend the whole trip thinking about it. He understood, and we're gonna talk when I'm back. Dang, a cliffhanger to end on there, but oh man, I'm watching Star Wars right now, like all of the movies through, but
Okay.
I'm just like imagining the stepmother as Chancellor Palpatine, the Sith Lord, that's like ruling over everything, and the stepbrother is Darth Vader, and she's like, "You will follow me and build an empire of hate against OP and all of his children and everyone he loves." And the stepbrother is like, "Yo, do I become Darth Vader? Do I take it all back?" And you know what I mean?
Darth Vader does change at the end. Oh,
He did. Oh. It's okay. I already did
okay,
that.
good. Whoa. Oh, gosh.
Right? I would have been like, fired. So we have a lot to dissect in this story. Maybe a few questions come to mind for you, Riley, and everybody watching. One, was OP right to cut his father out of his life?
My question is, what could the stepmother and stepbrother said to each other for the stepbrother to reach back out? Like, do you think he finally turned around, or is he like what the dad did, where it looked like he turned around, but on actuality, he was like kind of like trying to be like, oh, the stepmother's still a good person.
Definitely. Yeah. So let's answer each other. So what do you think OP should have cut off his dad and gone completely no contact?
I mean, yeah, it just seemed like the right thing to do. Like right after they got out of court, he called him and he was like, okay, this looks up, you know? And it wasn't. He was still like, why are you not seeing her as a good person? That right there. And he's not seeing how horrible she is. Like, she like beat up a kid and has a restraining order. Like, what else?
See reason, bro. What else do you need?
I think OP's sister has been having a really hard time with the dad too. And it just seems like he's like being very stubborn, and it just, to a certain point, you just can't handle it. And no good conversations will come out of anything going forward. You know, like if he can't get past this, there's really no reason to continue a relationship, which it sucks, but it makes sense.
Totally. And I also I wanted to point out, OP basically said like, I still love my dad, but I can't be around him, and the door is not locked. Like there is always a way potentially back in. And I think that's a very because, you know, so often in the stories, you know, we have like the divorce chant, like the no contact chant, you know, but like it is a really, it is a really hard thing to like let go of your father.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I think the stepmom just did her thing. She just did her trademark classic TM BSery to the stepbrother, and probably like maybe the stepbrother started questioning her on all of the stuff that she did like more, and she was like, why don't you trust me? Or, you know, probably went off on him. Maybe like we know how she goes off on people, and then he's like, maybe that is like breaking the glass for him.
Yeah, because with the stepbrother, he was kind of deemed like the golden child, because the stepmother was like, oh, he's about to have my grandchild, and it's going to be such a happy family. And then once like the stepbrother's fiance left, I guess in a way that role was taken away from him. And now it's like, I guess he's still kind of dealing through that with the stepmom of like, I almost had your grandchild. And then she like really like flip-flopped on him. and was with the other family because she was like, I don't want anything to do with your kid. And then all of a sudden she was like, I want something to do with your kid. And he like must be feeling a lot of like wishy-washy with the stepmom.
But yeah, dude, a lot of things in this story. We need you all to throw in your opinions. Was OP right for cutting off the dad? What do you think the stepmother said? Have you had any similar experiences like this? We definitely want to hear all of your comments. Thanks for chilling with me and Riley in this solo episode, and we'll see you next time.